This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. I don't think most people will agree with this statement that very few people, hell, I'd argue that no one has the ability to get under your skin, irritate, or piss you off like a family member. And it can be any family member, right? A parent, a kid, aunt, uncle, racist grandparent, your spouse, you name it. And because family has a way of pushing our buttons in all the wrong ways, we often have a very stupid reaction to them. Case in point, two sisters, they're sharing an apartment. Well, the police were called after one of the sisters attacked the other with ravioli. Police were also called to a separate domestic involving a married couple. Now, in this case, they got into an argument, as couples do, but the argument ended when one of them stuffed nachos down the other one's pants. That is correct. Stuffed nachos down their pants in anger. And yes, the old nachos down the pants move, that's what was on display. Now, while both of these stories are very, very stupid, I did have to ask myself, if it came down to it, I'm in an argument with a family member, would I rather be assaulted with ravioli or nachos? And if you care, I picked ravioli. Now, today, it's our random Would You Rather question brought to you by our friends at Advanced Hair Restoration. And basically, it works like this. You give us a call. We'll ask you a Would You Rather question. And while there is no right answer, we'll be sure to tell you while you're wrong.
Be a part of the big show, the random Would You Rather question. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like KISW on Facebook. Follow us on X and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Running a business can be exhausting. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI. From site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want. And manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
99.9 KISW.
Hello, Macholas, away we go. Welcome to the 20th anniversary season, episode number 4,326. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people doing bad stuff in the news every week. It's amazing how you pull this off.
Yeah, normally, man, the news is good. People treat each other well. But thanks to our crack research staff, we do manage to find only 3 stories a week where people are doing bad stuff.
I cannot wait to get up in the morning and read the news. It is just awesome.
Well, it's always a pick-me-up, especially if you go to social media. It's like, oh, man, my mood goes through the roof. I'm laughing. I'm smiling.
It's usually just people being friendly.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Totally.
You know, and what I like
Friendly
is
with each other.
Whatever opinion you put out there, people are very supportive.
Mm-hmm. Always.
That's why we do the segment, Who Sucks Less?
Yeah, to remind people.
That people do bad things.
They really do, man.
Is there a theme to Who Sucks Less?
Yeah, you're not going to like any of them.
Okay.
You're just not. I'll just give you the tip. It has to do with the insurance industry.
Oh, I'm already mad.
Well, look, 2 of them are from insurers, doing what insurers do.
Yeah.
It's just particular cases, and one of them is from a doctor who's taking advantage of the system, if you will.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing none of them help people.
No. No, there's no silver lining.
I just paid my insurance today.
Cool. And you know what they'll do?
Because I went and got my teeth cleaned.
Well, here's the thing, right? So you live alone, so I don't mind. The dental insurance that we have is actually pretty good. I will give you credit on that.
They do a pretty good job.
For the most part, it's like home insurance kind of sucks, and medical insurance, everyone knows. Well, my dental insurance is fine. The problem is they only cover up to a certain number of visits a year, right? And with the kids, basically the kids always get the freebies, and I end up paying for mine at the end of the year. Like, you sons of bitches, right? It's money out of my pocket for my teeth, but your little ass teeth, you get on the house.
Yep.
And you get a gift.
Mm-hmm. Who Sucks Less is coming up at 4:30 right here on the program. Oh, here's a little note you might be interested in. Don't know if you enjoy a little golf every once in a while. Well, the Miles Montgomery Golf Classic, presented by our friends at Pinky's Plumbing, that's going down Monday, June 9th. We're getting closer. All right. It is a shotgun start at 8 o'clock. We find out this week the Daily Mix Morning Show. They're going to be broadcasting from the golf course that Monday morning.
Nice. I mean, everyone's got to be there at 6 a.m. At least we do. So we're like, what else you guys
going to be on the air. Mike and I were up at the Bill Wright Golf Complex at Jefferson Park. They have an amazing menu. They've got breakfast. They've got beers. They've got drinks.
What'd you get for breakfast? Because this thing starts early, man, so that's...
Oh, what did Mike and I get? We went to the 5 Point. I got a hamburger.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were just figuring we'd have a few beverages before we went over there.
You don't say.
Maybe some breakfast. But yes, they do have breakfast at the golf course. Here is some more good news. Now, we've had a couple people who did not get in early enough and did not get a foursome. We have just found out today that 2 foursomes have opened up for the tournament. So if you go to KISW.com and you wanted to get in on the fun, basically there are 2 slots left. What does that mean? There are 8 people who can play golf, but you have to have 4 ready to go when you sign up for the foursome. Okay? So there are 2 available right now. If you have some friends, you want to jump in, head to KISW.com. Initially, those were gone in, with the exception of these 2, within, I think 4 days.
It was 4 days. Yeah, we announced it 4 days later. It was sold out.
So if this is something that you are interested in, head to KISW.com. We are assuming that those are going to sell quickly as well.
I get that feeling, yeah.
So it's going to be a great time, and we're going to have a wonderful day. Golf course, by the way, is in great shape. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's going to be a fun tournament. There's a lot of different stuff on each hole, so we're going to have a good time. So hopefully we'll see you up there. Again, that's Monday, June the 9th. And yes, we are not on the air that day.
Oh, damn it.
But we have to be there real early.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Taking
I'm not a morning person.
But
6 a.m., huh?
You'll be done around noonish.
You got to be there at 6
Do whatever you want after that. But in the morning, we're going to have some fun. So sign up now at KISW.com. Today is the day that we do our random Would You Rather question, 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Dalton. Welcome to the Midge Room.
Hola.
Dalton, welcome to the program. The random Would You Rather question. Okay, we'll just start with the one you brought up earlier. Dalton, would you rather be attacked with nachos, or the other option would be ravioli?
You're going to be attacked.
Is it meat or cheese? Ravioli.
Hold on.
I don't know. I'm not sure that in either story, because they're 2 separate stories. It just says nachos, it says ravioli. Now, in my mind, the ravioli was a cheese ravioli and a meat sauce. I cannot guarantee that. That's just what I pictured. The nachos, I'm just assuming has meat on them.
The arrest report does not indicate what kind of ravioli was used in the attack. Whether it was coated in tomato, pesto, cheese, or butter-based, or filled with meat.
I'm saying tomato. I feel like if you covered it in pesto and you get in a fight, you're not throwing pesto-covered ravioli at someone.
I'm going meat. I like meat raviolis. I'll put my cheese on top in the Parmesan variety.
I agree. It's just what I picture in this scenario. For whatever reason, it is a cheese ravioli covered in tomato sauce.
So nachos or raviolis? Where are you going on being attacked with a food product?
Yeah, I'm about to go. I mean, I think ravioli, right? You don't want.
Why are you picking ravioli?
I think it's too hot.
I mean, look, I'm assuming both are hot. I feel the ravioli will carry its heat longer. My thought was just the cleanup. As far as what I have to clean off of my person, out of my clothes, it's just tomato sauce with the ravioli. Right? 'Cause even if the ravioli breaks up, meat, cheese, whatever. You can
but think about your Tupperware container.
Right, with the red ring?
Yeah, like I just think, A, it's going to be hotter. Because ravioli shows up like steaming. Nachos generally aren't steaming.
True.
I just feel like the ravioli is going to be hotter, and it's going to be more of a pain to get out of your
So
stomach.
I agree with you, Ted. And I also did, I stepped up into adulthood a little bit. After years of having plastic containers, then I stepped up to the glass containers with the
That's
plastic.
what we got now, yeah.
They snap on the lids. Guess what turns orange now?
The lid.
The plastic lid.
All right.
Didn't really think that through all the way.
But that's okay. I can live with that, you know? I feel like the plastic containers we give away now. So are you going ravioli or nachos, man?
Yeah, I'm going to say ravioli. And it's because of the chips. I feel like the chips would create some unwanted friction.
Unwanted friction, like
Okay,
the
I
danger
thought
of
there's maybe a rough edge than the
corn
ravioli.
chip shrapnel.
Yeah.
My thought is it's just the number of ingredients, man. As far as the cleanup, I get the red sauce, but other than the red sauce, it's just cheese and meat. And I feel like with the nachos, the cheese is definitely hotter, and I feel like it's a more oily cheese. Also, I mean, there might be olives, there might be jalapenos. There's just more crap to clean up.
I will say this, though. In my adult life, when I think of ravioli, I think about being a kid and buying a
Chef
can
Boyardee.
of Chef Boyardee.
I was trying to think if I've ever
Now-
eaten homemade ravioli. I do not believe I have.
Not even homemade. They've got it in the refrigerated section of the grocery store. Correct. There's like an artisan thing. It's you got to keep
Sure.
it.
Have you ever bought it?
No,
Me neither.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not my choice pasta.
And I like
have.
ravioli. I
do
really
too.
like ravioli, but for whatever reason, seriously, when I saw that story,
I've had more gnocchi, which is close.
Absolutely.
Than I have ravioli. It's like when there's a line you cross into adulthood where you go gnocchi.
But gnocchi's too heavy. I really like gnocchi, but I'm just saying if I had the choice, I'd probably go ravioli. It's just not as heavy.
Also, nachos, not in my wheelhouse anymore with friends.
Not so much anymore. Maybe about 10 years ago, kind of tapered off, but nachos were a mainstay for like 40 years.
I think you need 4 people for nachos. I think you need a table. Yes, I do.
For your
Because you're-
average
because
plate-
you're still going to get something else. This is just something you start with. But
I mean, first of all,
nachos
I
are
think
huge.
nachos are the overrated appetizer. And why they keep building them vertically, I will never understand.
How would you do it in your nacho? If I got Ted's
Yeah,
nachos,
what
are they
would
more
you
like
do
on a
different?
sheet
I
pan?
would have them farther spread out so that
more
you get
cheese
more
and toppings.
coverage.
Then
Long
you
nachos.
need to do this, man. No,
And then-
look.
well, there was also
I like this.
I used to go to a chain Mexican joint back in Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And when you ordered nachos, it would be like a big round plate, and then each nacho chip already had
its own
like
All
a couple.
the-
Yeah,
really?
So it was like each chip, so you didn't have to fight over who gets the good bite or whatever.
I hate when people do that.
And then for
But
me,
you're
I
gonna do that.
either want it like that or just cover it all in the crappy nacho cheese.
So I don't like the crappy nacho cheese, but I do agree with you 100%. Like, hey, man, if 4 of us are going to order nachos, and it is understood that we're going to share, right? Before you bring share plates, how about, like you said, like a cookie sheet, right? That way all of the nachos have roughly the
because
same coating.
I am a nacho judger. So
What are you judging?
I'm watching what you do. If there's a big chunk of meat,
Oh,
you know what I
me,
mean?
you mean?
Everybody.
I'm taking the best one,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. I'm like, I knew you were going to take that one. I knew you were going to take the one with all the good
Wouldn't
stuff on
you
it.
take that? What would you
just
do?
sprinkle some of the meat around to the other pieces.
Are you telling me you would do that?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, I would.
You're the first
gotta
one
be-
to grab a
no,
nacho.
I'm
all
not
right?
grab- I'm
And
not
they're in
I'm
the
not
best
grabbing all
shape.
the- like you
the
do
cheese, the meat,
No.
the hell.
No.
You're telling me you get first dibs on this, and you get one that's got everything everyone wants, but you feel bad enough for the other 3 people at the table that
Correct.
you're going to
If
shake
you-
a little
look,
meat
look,
off.
Dude, if there's one dollop of
BS.
sour cream on the top, and it's covered in 2 chips, and you take those 2 chips, now there's no sour cream for anybody else.
You can't take both chips. But if there's one chip that has the sour cream, like, I'm
You
taking that
spread
chip.
some of that out to the other chips.
No, man, this is first come, first served. Look, it's like a pinata, right? Kid breaks open a pinata, and all the kids bolt for the candy. When they put the nachos down, you know the chip you
This is
want.
why I don't like nachos.
You got to go on. You got to go for it, man.
Look, if you get queso, you're just going to dip it in your own cheese.
That's
you
easy.
You can make that judgment call. But with nachos, I feel like you're stealing from your friend.
You're not stealing. Your friends know what's up.
You're sharing.
Look, somebody drops a bag of money, and we're all racing to grab the money. And for whatever reason, you decide you're only going to grab the $5 bills. I'm grabbing the 20s or the 100s. Like, you can't be mad about it. You have the opportunity to grab what I'm grabbing. You've chosen not to.
But I'm not a fast eater.
Well, hey, look,
So I'm
that
not gonna
first,
catch up.
but the first chip is the one.
Okay. Reason we asked, would you rather be attacked with nachos or ravioli? A 39-year-old woman in Florida, shocking, named Allison Swan. She is facing battery charges for allegedly attacking her wife with a fistful of nachos.
A fistful.
It happened in their home in Port St. Lucie.
Wasn't that a Clint Eastwood movie? Fistful of nachos.
3 a.m. 3 a.m. All right?
Well, that's what led to this fight.
Allison was playing video games in the living room and saw her wife making nachos in the kitchen at 3 a.m. The wife, who's 40, told police that Allison told her it was too late to eat and made a comment about her weight.
You're playing video games.
So that started an argument. Hey, fatty, why are you making nachos at 3 a.m.? Or whatever the comment was. Obviously, that's not
She
nice.
might not have said fatty.
Right.
She may have just said, hey, I thought you were watching away. Why you got to make it bad?
Who's making the is the guy or the woman?
No,
they're
the
both
two women.
women.
Oh,
Both women.
okay. So, I mean, I get it.
The fat one was making the nachos.
Right, if you
Yes,
say, hey,
at
you
3
shouldn't
a.m.
eat that, it's 3 a.m.
Fine.
That's right, but you're up I'm with Thrill. If you're up playing video, like, we're all kind of taking some liberties here.
Yeah, 3. But
Well,
she had to
obviously-
drop the fat thing. And that's
obviously-
like, now it's on.
Alcohol or weed was probably involved.
Sure.
Allison then grabbed a handful of cheesy nachos and shoved them down the back of her wife's pants. Now, as she was changing into some new pants, that is when Allison said, more. I'm going to attack my wife. And she pushed her against the wall and slammed her head into the floor.
Jesus.
Now, she did end up with a knot on her forehead. She also said Allison held her down and used her fingers to fish hook her by the cheeks, all while telling her she was the one in charge.
No, I understand the move. That's just, haven't really seen that.
Now, at some point in all this kerfuffle, the wife managed to call a friend. Then they called the police, and the police showed up and arrested Allison for domestic battery. Now, she tried to claim her wife was just drunk and rolled around in the nachos after throwing them against the wall. But parts of her story didn't line up. And the cops said they found nacho cheese inside the victim's pants. So that's how she was busted.
I mean, yeah. Jesus.
If there's a big chunk of cheese on the backside,
It's a one-night
I mean,
stand.
significant other. Would you take a chip? She's not allowed to have any contact with her wife now. They live together, so police said she could go get her stuff if they went with her. It's not clear, but they might also work together. Both of them are, in fact, registered nurses. So there's a story about the nachos.
Well, I hope I'm in their care.
I mean,
No.
again, I don't care. It just sounds like they're both up late at night. You're right. Maybe a beverage, maybe some weed involved, and like one's playing video games, and I can fathom maybe you're trying to look out for their health. That just seems like the wrong time to bring up.
But there's a better
eating
way
a
to
snack
put
at
it.
3 a.m. Yeah,
Right. If you can bring it, hey, you're fat. By the way, Ted, people love your nacho idea on the...
spreading them out.
Yeah, spread them out. And someone else says, by the way, they just had the pulled pork nachos from Red Robin. They're effing delicious. Swapped out the potato chips for steak fries. It was excellent. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Huh.
Pulled pork nachos, they are absolutely the bomb.
What?
So
All
wait,
right.
wait, hold on. So the pulled pork was supposed to go initially on French fries, and they subbed
said-
it for chips. Is that what I'm understanding?
I'm not 100% on this, all right? So they had pulled pork nachos from Red Robin. That might be its own thing, but they said they swapped out potato chips for steak fries. So, yeah, I guess it was supposed to go on the chips.
Like an Irish nacho, maybe?
Maybe. Either way, it sounds
Okay.
great.
All
Yeah.
right. We stay in Florida.
And listen, I respect the tacho, but you got to eat that with a fork.
Yes, you do. Yes,
You can't
Yeah,
pick them up.
that's
Now,
fine.
if you got a waffle fry, you can make an Irish nacho.
Yes.
Have you ever had, what is your version of Irish nachos? Because when I grew up,
Truthfully, to me, it should be on like a sturdy,
a
almost
steak fry.
handmade.
A steak fry, right?
No, chip, potato.
Yes. Like, Fedor used to do
Fedor
that.
used
The
to do
really
that.
thick chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Super thick. Like, they couldn't even get soggy kind of chips.
But it's potato-based for sure. The Irish part of
Yes.
that is potatoes.
I feel like when you use steak fries, you're basically just making a version of a poutine.
Then white cheese, and then bacon bits, typically. Is that...
You
pretty
can put
much
whatever
it.
you want. As long as you have potato involved, then it
Yeah.
becomes an Irish nacho.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that's the big
No,
difference.
that's right. Fedor, man, they
They
crushed
were
it.
so good.
We stay in Florida for the ravioli. And when police arrived at the residence, evidence of the ravioli attack was splattered on the victim, according to the report. A 21-year-old woman, angry that her sister would not share some food she brought home, was arrested on a ravioli battery charge.
Ravioli battery.
Cops say that Nakia Davis got mad at her blood-related sister after the victim did not allow the defendant to have any of the food that was delivered to the Florida home. The sister, cops allege, retaliated by throwing a plate of raviolis at her sister.
So was she already eating a plate of raviolis? Her sister ordered something different?
No, her sister, I don't believe, was involved in the order, but she would not share.
No,
Maybe
what
she
I'm
did-
saying is the one who's eating the one who threw the ravioli, Was that part of the ordered food, or was she already eating ravioli and then wanted to supplement her ravioli dinner with additional food that her sister ordered?
Yeah, I don't know. Police arrived at the Clearwater house, and the victim still had sauce and the ravioli on her. The woman's boyfriend, he admitted to the ravioli tossing, basically being able to witness it. So he said, hey, man, yeah, she threw the ravioli at her. Charged with domestic battery, Davis spent a night in jail. A night in jail.
For the raviolis.
Before being released Friday afternoon on her own recognizance. Judges ordered Davis to have no contact at all with her sister. And again, the arrest report does not indicate what kind of ravioli was used in the alleged attack. Whether the pasta was coated in tomato, pesto, cheese, or a butter-based topping, we do not know.
I'm going tomato. So I'm just trying to figure this out. Is she eating ravioli, all right? Then her sister orders food. And in addition to the ravioli that she's already made for herself, was she like, yeah, I want some of your blank? Because I'd have turned her down, too.
I'm going nachos. I believe the raviolis would burn your skin.
They might. Yeah. Somebody here, they called nachos, hot? Yeah, nachos are like hot ninja throwing stars being thrown at you.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the cheese in this case. Mm-hmm. The meat's not going to do it.
I think the superior product, the king of the nacho world, is the fundito.
Oh, God, yeah. Fundito. Queso fundito.
Queso fundito.
If you got it, I order it.
They have, you can add some...
chorizo.
Yeah. Chorizo that's ground.
Do the chorizo.
All right, here's the other question.
Ground pork, pulled pork.
If you go to a Mexican restaurant, you're already eating chips and salsa.
Yeah.
Do you still order nachos?
No.
I'm with you.
No. I would do the queso fundito, but not nachos.
No. Right.
Yeah, at that point, I'm guacking it. More of the random Would You Rather question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance, too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Running a business can be exhausting. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI. From site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want. And manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Pinky's Plumbing Studio, you're in the men's room. Text the guys at 206-803-ROCK.
Random Would You Rather question, 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Melissa. Welcome to the men's room.
Random.
Hola, guys.
Hola. Melissa, welcome to the program. Let's see. Okay. Let's go with this one. Melissa, would you rather clean a public bathroom or help someone you know move?
Oh, I'm too old for helping people move now. Let's clean that bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds bad. I'm cleaning the bathroom.
What if there are 4 stalls? You're doing a woman's bathroom.
Oh, women's bathroom?
Two
Okay,
sinks.
that's
2
fine.
sinks, 4 stalls.
Yeah.
Now.
Light work.
I know you only
Light
know...
work? Look, I don't spend a lot of time in women's bathrooms of public places, but the word I get from every woman I've ever known is, you have no idea what happens in there. It is significantly worse than the men's bathroom.
Okay, so would you rather clean a woman's or a men's bathroom?
A woman's bathroom for sure.
Really? Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, nothing scares me, I guess, right, being a woman. Whereas with men, it's like, who raised you? What happened to you to make you this way, right?
Well,
leave.
I just feel like, on average, guys miss the urinal a lot or pee on top of it.
What was the color of the urine the other day?
It was dark green. And
dark green.
Dark green?
On top of the urine.
I saw it. The VD brought it up, and I'm like, right, dude. You couldn't not see it. It skeeved me out the whole time.
There was also remnants of vomits a couple weeks ago, also in the urinal.
Mm-hmm.
Over the weekend, Zins were thrown to the urinal,
It just
depends on the guy, man. Some guys are better than others.
I know what weekend that was, right?
Right.
That kind of made sense. Not unexpected. It wasn't great to see.
Everybody's got to stop. The last hockey game I went to, there's like, you can't put Zins in the urinal. Somebody's got to
No.
pick those out.
No.
Put them in the trash can.
What's
Put
the
them in
most,
your back pocket.
What's the offending thing in the women's room? I'm guessing like unflushed sanitary pads or something.
No one's flushing those down the toilet.
They leave them in the sink.
I don't. Yeah, probably like wrapped up used feminine products that aren't fully wrapped, that are probably like kind of out in the open, put in the trash receptacle. But like, you know, you do the courtesy, put like a toilet paper thing over it before you like.
But
you
how
know,
much
put
longer would it take to just fully mummify the thing? It's like we say with the guys peeing on top of the urinal. Like, bro, the urinal cannot be bigger. You don't even have to have good aim. So why not just wrap the whole thing up?
You know, you'd think that would be the case, but I guess some people maybe just don't really think about that, or in a rush. Who knows? And there might be an emergency. You know.
All right. Well, let me ask you this:
there's a lot of things that happen.
When can you remember the last time that you did help someone move?
I helped my sister move. She lives about 20 minutes away, and she was moved into a place and then had to move out. I had just recovered from a hip replacement, so it wasn't much help. But my husband was.
All
He
right.
had a big truck.
How long did it take? Was it an all-day thing?
It had to be an all-day thing. We had to get her out of there pretty quick. It was a pretty dicey situation.
And
So it was
what was your pay? Is it like beer and pizza, the standard currency for helping someone move?
I think if there was anybody but my sister, it would have to be more than beer and pizza. It'd have to be like my next chiropractor visit.
Have you ever helped someone move? When you get to their house, you realize they really haven't packed everything.
Right, they have
up
not
yet.
prepared.
And that's the main thing. Like, I will pick up
That
a
makes me
box,
so mad.
but you can't be still putting stuff in boxes.
I'm not here to help you pack.
Right.
I'm here to help
here
you move.
to physically pick this stuff up and move it out. So those are the times. Granted, I was younger, but I'm like, dude, your kitchen is intact. You haven't packed anything up in here.
But you said this is the day
This
you
is the
wanted
day
to
we're
do
going to
this.
move. Oh, we're just going to move it. I'll put some of that stuff in my car.
Okay.
Like, oh, God, dude. I think the last person I've helped move was with you.
Oh, Eric.
In Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah, it was a horrible day.
Old producer, hotter than hell.
Yeah, not him, the day. It was like 98 degrees, if I recall, and the humidity was in full effect.
Yeah.
And we were still drunk from the night before.
I mean, the last time I moved, my friends helped me move like my TV, some of the clothes, but I'll still hire a moving company to get like the couches,
Absolutely.
and they have those boxes. I forget what they call them, but it's like they could put so many. It's like a movable closet.
Yeah, like the big ass wardrobe box.
The wardrobe boxes. So when they bring those in, that's where you get the bulk of it. But
to me, it's sheer economy, right? Like if you have the money to hire movers. It's worth the money. But if you don't have the money, there's nothing you can do. You got to count on friends. Years ago, me and a girlfriend, we were moving 5 blocks away, down the hill, so same street even, just different apartment. And there's a grocery store about 3 blocks away. So I stole one of the shopping cars. I did take it back when I was done, but that is how we moved everything.
Yep.
But I remember my neighbors that I knew on the street, they were laughing at us because it took all day. You can't fit as much in a shopping cart as you'd like. But I was like, look, man, you can laugh, but we are dead broke. I have no. To me, this is genius. Otherwise, we're walking this ass.
If you have the physical ability to pick big stuff up and someone to help you, the more economical way to do it is the pod thing. So they drop a pod off in front of your apartment. You put everything that you can into 1 or 2 of those pods. Then a truck comes, picks the pods up, and dumps them right in front of where you're moving to.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, you open up your pods and you move everything back in. So you're not paying for the truck. You're just paying for the pods.
Mm-hmm.
You can load up at will. You could take, 3 or 4 days to fill that thing up. They come and get them, drop them off on the day that you're moving. You go and start putting your crap in. To me, if I was 20 years old, 22 years old, that would seem to be, not knowing anybody with a truck, that would be the most economical way to do it.
But at that age, man, at least in my case, I don't know that I would have had the money to do that. Like I said, I had to steal a freaking shopping cart. And luckily, my neighbor also had a skateboard. So we had a sofa that we had to move. And basically, we balanced it vertically on the skateboard and walked it very slowly down the hill.
They say there's 3 kinds of favors. The minor kind people like helping with. The major kind people will reluctantly help with. And someone who asks for help with a move, which is the worst. In a survey, 38% of people say they hate even being asked to help a friend or family member move. Now, that makes sense. It's hard to get out of. Takes a long time, typically a day. It involves stress, manual labor, and the risk of messing stuff up. Now, if you are the one needing help, people say the top 3 things you can do to sweeten the pot are buying food and drinks,
Yes.
paying for the help, and promising to return the favor when the time comes. So why don't people just hire professionals? About half people
Money.
say it's too expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 30% say they don't feel like they need professionals. 17% say they don't trust strangers with their stuff.
Look, I hear you. Right? The movers, this is what they do, and it's sheer economics. Once I could afford movers, I'm like, yes, I'm hiring movers because it sucks to move.
Right. Now,
I mean, it sucks to even unpack, but as long as you didn't have to do the heavy lifting.
yeah. Now, my grandmother, she's up there in age. She's 99 years old.
Damn.
Okay? So she's going to pass
Does she
on.
know that?
Yes. No, she does not
I was
know.
going to, like,
She doesn't-
seriously,
no,
does she know?
doesn't
How
remember.
old does she think she is? If
Like
you were to ask her.
97.
All right.
She's
close
been
enough.
stuck on 97 for 3 years. She'll be 100 years old this year if she gets there. Now, my mom, more than likely, she obviously lives in this location. That's her mom's house.
Yeah.
So when she passes on, there's really no need to be there. But one thing about my mother is that she is the ultimate collector of things.
Pack rat.
Is the best word.
Hoarder,
Yes.
sure.
And I am absolutely terrified by the idea of having to take 2 or 3 days off to help her just get her stuff situated. Like, just to get her to throw things away.
Right.
That are not necessary anymore. Things that she believes, for some reason, would have sentimental value. If we were to move my mom to be closer to my brother and sister in Pittsburgh, have a condo, live in a adult center, community, whatever the deal is,
Yeah.
you know, one floor apartment or whatever. It would take days just to be able to narrow the crap down
To make it fit.
to get her into a reasonable sized location.
Yeah.
There's just so much crap everywhere.
Do what we did. Like, my mom had so much stuff. We finally agreed to get her into a place. My brother just went over to one of her storage units during, like, when she wasn't there. And we just, like, he was like, look, if it's something I think you might want, I'll call you or send you a picture. But he just got rid of stuff.
So what do you
She
say?
did
I mean,
everything.
just take it to
started
the dump,
tossing it?
or
I mean,
it's
a
the
lot
thing,
of-
you go there.
A lot of it is just Miles. My mom's the same way, right? Just stuff that like she thinks, but it's like it's not important to us,
Right.
So I was like, you could just take it to the dump.
Sure.
You know, like clothes and stuff you can take to Goodwill if you want. But she just had so much stuff. She had two storage units and a 2-bedroom apartment, all basically full.
Yeah. And stuff that's like, you know what? I get it at the time. So there's a newspaper that sits on top of a box. I see it every time. It is the Challenger blowing up. I remember this thing happening.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
The Williamson Daily Mail, which is where she lives. That was the newspaper at the time. So any newsworthy event, they saved a newspaper. But it's from the Williamson Daily Mail. Who gives a flying?
But it's the same
If it's
story.
the New York Times or if it's the Washington
But it doesn't
Post.
matter if it's
I
significant.
don't know. It just
You
seems
know,
like
JFK is assassinated.
Right.
And you could have New York Times that
maybe
says
the
it.
Dallas newspaper that day. Yes, that makes sense. But anything else, it's like this is not valuable.
Well, it is to her because that's where she lived. Like, she could have the New York Times,
Well, I
but
know
she didn't
that.
live in New York to
But
tell you the same
I know
story.
that, but I just don't see what. Why are you going to reread it?
Right.
You also, I just feel like you don't need them as much anymore because you
The
can go
internet.
online, right?
Yeah.
You could find what it said that day.
Right. I'm more interested in opening that thing up, which I have before, and gone, man, oh man, they've got a $5.99 ribeye at Ponderosa.
Right.
You know, like all you can eat at Pizza Inn or whatever the
Sure.
deal is. Like to me, that's more of the intriguing part of picking up an old newspaper. Oh my God, I could buy a brand new Chevrolet for $9,999 this weekend only.
Well, I still have a Time magazine from when the Twin Towers went down.
But
And
it's
I-
a Time magazine.
It is. I mean, and I'm sure every magazine had it, but I didn't get it because it was Time. It's just that's the magazine that had to think about the Twin Towers. And, originally I got it because I'm like, well, this is a significant thing you're going to want to remember. Not that I need anything to remind me, but having kids, it's interesting when they dig through stuff because they've heard about it, but it's the past to them. It's like us hearing about JFK assassinated. We know what happened in a reasonable timeline, but before we were born. So when they saw this thing, I mean, they're like mesmerized, just staring at the cover. And I'm like, that's not why I kept it, but I'm glad that, for some reason it has more impact to them than going online.
All right. There
and
are,
reading the
there are
same
boxes of Life magazines.
thing. Yeah, I got one
I mean,
magazine, dude. So that's.
So there's just all these things. We're like, I know you had a reason for saving this stuff, but you got a whole year from like 1970.
Do you remember the reason why? Because if the
Yeah.
answer is no, Like, okay, you kept these. Why?
Right. Every set of any flower arrangement.
Oh, God.
You did not need to keep all these vases. Mother's Day vases for years. 60 years. Vases. I don't know what the deal is. Wicker baskets where you put fake flowers in them.
Right.
Just dumb crap. Dried dead corn that you hang on the door at Halloween.
Oh, my mother's got that, yeah.
All the stuff.
You should see the collection of weird nun stuff my mom has.
None?
None?
Yes. Her and her friend are obsessed with nuns.
So how does one acquire a nunnery thing?
I mean, like, yeah.
I don't know
is there a
where
black
they
market
find them,
for-
but there's just little nun figurines and this and that.
really?
She's like, well, it started as kind of a joke that we would send them. And I go, she's still sending them and you're still buying them. Like, just stop.
Right.
Nun stuff.
Nun stuff. And
That's
some of them are
different.
creepy.
Yes,
They're
nuns
like
are
these
creepy.
dolls from the 70s that are just a nun staring at you.
Whoever wants...
There's no
nuns are already terrifying.
There's no good nun story.
Right, I can't think of someone going, you know what I want? I want like a stuffed nun to remind me of how much joy I had
I
in
made
the
a caller
presence.
the other day. He was talking about the fact that like a nun was
With
going
Satan.
to an orphanage in Italy and just like, scaring the living hell out of people.
VD, do you like nun stuff?
Doesn't matter. Turns out Ted's mom has a bad habit.
Hey, I'll give you that. You walked all the way down there for that joke.
Jesus, no. Was that worth the effort? All right.
Yes, it was.
If you think so, man.
By the way, and the question you asked, so help someone move or clean a public bathroom. And we had to call her, and she said,
I think I might help somebody move. Public
I'm-
bathrooms could be awful.
They can be. I'm still taking, just because it takes my thought was I would get stoned and I know I'd really get to the nitty gritty. It would be gross, but we said what's worse, the men's or the women's. A couple people chimed in and says, I'm a former plumber. Women's restrooms are way worse than men's rooms.
Yes.
The worst call I ever got was for a foul smell in a woman's restroom. 4 stalls, 3 sinks, walked in, smelled like death. Took down a false wall, suspecting some sort of leak, and found a wall of used tampons that someone or someone's were sticking behind the false wall. Way worse than the worst men's room experience by far. And someone else adds, I would definitely want to clean a man's bathroom before a women's bathroom. I once worked as a custodian at a high school, and a women's bathroom, 8 times out of 10, was worse than the men's. It's disgusting when you open up a stall and someone to put their feminine hygiene products in the toilet, turning the bowl into a giant bowl of tomato soup. Women are disgusting.
I also feel like most public bathrooms have the ability to just be hosed down. So much like what you're saying,
right.
You get baked, whatever it is that you do, you hose most of the really gritty, nasty down, and then you just kind of get into the more intimate, we're just going to scrub this thing down.
I'm right there with you. And one of the nice things, it's tile everywhere. But the one thing that most public bathrooms have that my bathroom does not is the drain in the middle of the floor, right? It's like you hose the piss out of this
and
thing.
hope that thing works.
Hope that it works, right? And just save scooping up the chunks for later.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm right there with you, man. Hello, Jordan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
Jordan, welcome to the program. Let's see. I'll give you this one. Jordan, would you rather fight an alligator or fight the police? Alligator or fight the police?
How many alligators are there?
One
Man, I almost
alligator.
wanna-
One alligator.
I always go with the alligator. That's a quick, simple death rather than just getting beat down.
I mean, look, man, I will say this. I got the S kicked out of me by a bunch of cops back in the day in Baltimore. And it sucked. It's hard to explain. My adrenaline was enough that you still didn't feel pain. Like, I know I got my ass beat. And they didn't shoot me or anything. But, I mean, they beat me with some things. But in the end, I'm still ready to go. And at no point was I scared of them. It's like, you guys want to keep doing this, let's roll, right? And finally, they cuffed me and put my ass in. So I know I could revisit that. I don't want to. But I could because people are people. An alligator, there's no way I keep my cool. Like, that to me is just terrifying. Like, people you can figure out.
Yeah, but you're not going to stop fighting that alligator either.
No, but
It's
I'm
life
not
or death.
But I'm not convinced I'm going to win. And here's the thing. With the cops, it was personal. They didn't like me. I didn't like them. Personal stuff is no problem to me. Alligator, like, no, it just wants to kill you. There's no way to negotiate. There's no way. You're right. I'm going to keep fighting it. I'm just not convinced I'm going to win. And the one thing with the cops, I never worried that they're going to rip my arm off. I never worried that they were going to try to drown me. It was just everyone's throwing punches. I can live with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. An alligator, I don't know, man.
So we're going to break this down for you as best we can. Florida again. Florida man, unfortunately, has passed away after first having an encounter with an alligator. Mm-hmm. Then with sheriff's deputies.
Right.
Okay? This is crazy stuff, okay? According to the Polk County Sheriff, Grady Judd. Grady Judd.
That sounds about as Florida.
Grady. That's a sheriff right there, Grady Judd. I'm voting for you. Timothy Schultz, 42, fatally shot by deputies on Monday. And here's how this all went down. Deputies responded to a call in the morning about a man swimming in a lake that was infested with alligators. Infested. Witnesses say he then growled at the witnesses when they tried to speak to him and help him out. So people were coming to his rescue, and then he started growling at them. Now, Schultz then decided to leave the lake, and he emerged from the lake with a huge alligator bite on his right arm.
Right.
Deputies arrive. They see Schultz attempting then to break into someone's car.
Which is the natural thing to do.
And they say then he charged them with a pair of garden shears. Now, attempts to tase this guy failed, and Judd said deputies opened fire when Schultz entered the idling patrol vehicle and attempted to get one of the firearms inside.
Yeah, that'll get you shot.
The fact that he was bitten by an alligator significantly and still continued his rampage is shocking, according to Sheriff Grady Judd. Schultz had recently been released from the county jail for meth possession, and authorities say he appeared to be on drugs.
Oh, was
the
he?
confrontation.
That guy was on drugs.
He's obviously got to be on drugs.
He fights the alligator, basically wins.
Sure.
With a flesh wound. Gets tased, basically wins that battle. Somehow gets into a patrol car, tries to get a gun, then gets shot and killed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the, aristocrats. More of the random Would You Rather question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Heads up, we told you this at the beginning of the show, but as far as the Miles Montgomery Golf Classic, first ever.
Yeah.
Brought to us by our friends at Pinky's Plumbing, Monday, June 9th, up at Jefferson Park. We have 2 foursomes that have opened up at KISW.com. Now, we announced that at the beginning of the show. Not sure they're still there, but if you want to get involved in the tournament, hang out with us for a great day of golf on a Monday, head to KISW.com. Okay, there's our random Would You Rather question, 206-803-ROCK.
Random.
Hello,
random,
Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Chris, welcome to the program. Random Would You Rather question. How about this one? Okay. Chris, this is a weird one. Would you rather have a few of your accounts online hacked, all right, or do the one chip challenge? Which I hear is pretty painful, or can be.
I feel like I get a freaking letter in the mail that my information's been compromised about every week or other week, and I haven't lost any money yet. But still, give me the one chip. I'll take the one chip, and if I cry and whatever, that's all right. I like chips.
I don't know much about the one chip challenge, but about 2 years ago, my son and his knucklehead friends, they decided to do it at the advice of one of the fathers, right? They're all at Buddy's house.
So they're not the knuckleheads. The dad is.
The dad said, hey, man, I'm hearing about this one chip challenge. You guys in? And they were all 10 or 11 years old at the time. So, of course, they're like, yeah. So only 2 of the 8 did it. And because I asked my son, did you do it? He said, look, man, my 2 buddies, I will not name their names, they each took a chip down, and like just watching their reaction, he's like, there's no chance I wanted to do it. Here's where it spiraled out of control. So the father that encouraged the kids to try the one chip challenge, his son was one of the kids that did it, and his son, complete agony, the whole thing you expect. So one of the only few things that can kind of cool you down in those situations, which a lot of us have heard, is milk, right? Just kind of separate the oils, from. So his kid is guzzling milk. He and the other kid are guzzling milk to kind of cool down their mouths and their stomachs. Now, the kid that was not his then went outside and puked all over his driveway. So he goes, and I couldn't be mad, so I'm hosing up chips and milk. Meanwhile, his son, think about his son, and he knows this about his son, but had forgotten that his son is also severely lactose intolerant. So the kid did the one chip challenge, goes down in flames. Dad gets him to guzzle milk to cool himself down, and he's like, the milk worked. It's not 100% effective. They're still in pain, but it does work a little bit. He's like, then my kid is coming out of both ends. And that was pretty much the rest of his night. Yeah. So he's like, I did not sleep that night because my kid, either he's essing himself or he's puking or whatever.
Swear to God.
They say for
milk,
the one chip challenge.
But Pepto-Bismol, because it's heavier.
It coats.
Yeah, exactly. So I've seen what's the wing challenge thing?
Hot ones.
I've seen some people bring in Pepto-Bismol.
I mean, it will dull it a little. It'll dull it some. It's still going to be super painful.
It is. I mean, that's the thing. It's.
I still think I'm taking the chip.
I would definitely take the chip over my crap being compromised. And not because I'm worried about what will happen with my crap, but it is such a nightmare to go through your credit cards in the bank
terrible.
To restore. Anyone can steal your crap, but for you to then go to the bank and say, I am actually the owner of this account or whatever, they put you through the ringer. It'd be almost easier. If someone were to steal your ID, it would be easier for you to then steal your ID from the person who stole it than to actually go to the bank with all of your information and explain who you are. They make it worse.
I mean, that chip, though, it puts people through pain. I just don't know if I could do it.
Hey, man, you did
hot food stuff for you, too.
But I've done it before. Like that one in Baltimore, that was so awful.
And that wasn't even a hot sauce. That was a sauce added. And we didn't read the bottle until after the fact. But that you did, a tablespoon of it or something?
Yeah.
And after the fact, because they kept saying it's a hot sauce. Then we read the bottle. It's not a hot sauce. It was like, 1 teaspoon of that for every gallon of water.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
So I had my Instagram personal was hacked, and I just couldn't get in.
Yeah.
I contacted Instagram, the whole deal. They just seemingly didn't care, which is fine. I just closed the account down. I think it's still up with somebody else's name.
Because it's someone else's now, yeah.
Right. But I lost all those contacts.
Right.
Which sucked to me because that was a way I could get a hold of someone. Maybe that was the only way I could get like previous work employees, friends of mine, whatever.
Seriously, dude, it'd be easier to pay someone. I got a buddy who has the ability to hack. He works in IT security, but when you try to do the right thing and go through the proper channels, and I understand the banks and credit cards and all this, they have their safeguards.
Yes.
But I realized, and actually it's the father of the kid who did the one chip challenge, but this guy, I would actually go to him and say, look, hack into this crap and just give it back to me, because the bank doesn't care who has it. Right?
My problem is my email is attached to that.
Yeah.
So if I try to start a new account, it will say that I already have one.
Even though you don't, right?
Even though I do not. So I'd basically have to open up a new email. Not the biggest deal in the world, but I'm just like, look, I'm not going to jump through hoops. It's not that big of a deal, but it was inconvenient. And from that, they were able to hack into other crap. So
exactly.
Next thing you know, like I've got crap coming in from Amazon that I didn't order. What was the one thing? It was like, did you order this red glow?
Oh, the face mask,
right?
Yeah.
I didn't order that. Problem was, it was like $375 or something crazy. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I got that canceled, but the whole process was just this spiraling of like, no, I did not order that. No, I did not do that.
There's been a
You're
big
right,
breach.
and that's a pain in the butt. But when, I have done something, like we were talking about, similar to that hot chip challenge, it absolutely destroys you.
Yeah.
So, I think it's easier. Like, you like some spicy stuff. I don't think you're think
Not
you're
that spicy,
factoring
dude.
in
Right.
how spicy that chip is and how
Well,
horrible.
did they ban it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they actually. Maybe like you could tell kids not to do certain things, but they're gonna do it. I don't know if they ban the chips or not. Mike, speaking of things getting hacked and you can't get in, right? We had the men's room Facebook page. That bad boy was rolling up until what, March of last year?
Yeah, something like that.
100,000 followers, and then I don't know. Do we get locked out? Did someone hack
I
it?
honestly don't know what happened, dude. All of a sudden, I tried to switch over so that I could post something onto our Facebook page, and it gave me the option. I clicked on it, and it went blip, and then it was just gone, completely gone from my page. So I look over to Ted. I'm like, "Can you get on the men's room page?" And then I think during the show he tries, and all of a sudden I see a panic look and goes, "It kicked me out too, man."
But here's the thing. But
Correct.
then you went through Facebook. Also went to corporate, because corporate obviously carries a bigger stick than we do. You don't have corporate. Odyssey corporate goes to Facebook. Facebook is still like, talk to the hand.
Exactly.
And
Because
like,
I don't think that they have a customer service department anymore.
do they not?
I don't think.
Well,
Because, I mean, our company went to them to say, hey, guys, look, I understand this guy from a show is bugging you, but hey, it's part of our corporate account. This is a multi-million dollar.
I mean, I think
Facebook's like, yeah, whatever.
Couple things, right? Because, like, during the pandemic, it got hacked.
Sure.
The KSW one did too, but we got it back. So it was like, all right. But then Facebook downsized. Frankly, our company downsized some people that were kind of the connection. So I don't know if they have any more pull.
They don't. I mean, it's just been, I think we just have to launch a whole new page, but it's been because bosses would be like, you guys haven't posted anything to Facebook since, well, March of 2024. We're like, bro.
I tried to tell you.
Like, you got hijacked, man. And Facebook does not care.
Fun conversation. Have that come up. Like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Facebook is not listening.
Well, I went to this person. It's not their job. Okay.
So I'm telling you, based on just the problems that I've had with my either bank accounts getting hacked or whatever, I have never done the one chip challenge, so I don't know. So I'm just going blind on this, going like I'm just going to try to do the chip, so I don't have to be on the phone to try to figure all this crap
I'm
out.
taking the chip. And Ted, I hear you. And
I'm
you are
just
not wrong.
I'm not tech savvy.
I know it is going to be an absolute physical disaster. I do know that. But just my patience level trying to get things. There's a reason I let my wife deal with everything. And she's not super patient, but she's more patient than me when you got to deal with the outside world, so to speak. But the one time I got something hacked, I can't remember what it may have been, like Comcast, something fairly inconsequential, right? But it was still like a week of crap. And if I had hair in my head to pull out, I probably would have.
I hear you. I've had my ID stolen, right? My credit cards.
You'd rather go through that.
It does suck. It's unreal. The pain was so bad. Like, I never want to do that again. I mean, there was a little. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be okay. Yeah. So I have that one chip challenge. I know would just destroy me, and you got to deal with it the next day because my buddies. My buddy lives over by a Wingdome in Greenwood, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So they always get together for the Greenwood car show.
Yep.
They have a couple beverages. They go over there and they're like, we want to try one of your crazy extreme wings. And they're like, let's just try. They each took like a bite and we're just like, they talk about it all the time. Like one of the most regretful things they've ever done. So, and that chip is hotter.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
And you're talking about full-grown adults, and look, you could list a bunch of regrets or at least bad decisions. Mm-hmm. So if a grown-ass man is like, no, I took a bite of this wing, and I'm telling you, in the collection of bad decisions in my life, this ranks in the top 3.
I just don't know the level of heat. So the Triangle in Fremont.
Bad.
They have a popcorn chicken basket, right?
Okay.
So think of Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Yeah.
So they're hand breaded, they're dipped, they're
sound delicious.
All different sizes.
It's making my mouth water.
It's just a big bowl of delicious fried chicken bites. Okay, they will do this thing where they will put a drop of like ghost pepper something on 2 of those nuggets or 3. I think you can ask them how many you want, to be dipped in this sauce. Then they toss that basket. Now my neighbor's got this for a party, and I'm like, ooh. You got the fried chicken nuggets from, Triangle? Sweet. I'm in.
All right.
They're like, wait a minute. Hold on. There's a caveat. I'm like, what is that? A few of these have this ghost pepper stuff on them. I'm like, how many? They're like 4 or 5. There's 40 of them in this box, this to-go box. I'm like, no problem. I got this. The first one I ate was one of those ghost pepper nuggets. And I mean, honest to God, I'm just chugging beers like, wow, man. And I don't think that is the same level as the one chip challenge. I think.
I mean, Google says technically you cannot buy that chip anymore. It was discontinued. 2023. I guess there was a death of a teenager linked to it. So they're like, listen, it's not on store shelves. You can probably go online and find it somewhere if you want,
but do you want to?
No,
they pulled it because kids were passing on.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
It's linked to the death of a teenager.
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to do that.
It was so big, right? And everybody's like, all the radio shows, TV morning shows for doing it. So I was like, no chance.
Not on the air.
You couldn't pay me to do that.
So the reason we asked, would you rather get your accounts hacked or do the one chip challenge? Are you ready for this one? If you haven't heard, this is a big deal. And it's just making the news today. Nearly 200 million passwords have been exposed after digital thieves stole data tied to some of the world's biggest tech firms. Now, lists of people's login details, they were made available on a public database, including usernames, emails, passwords, and in some cases, financial data. Security experts are now warning people to change their passwords to minimize the risk immediately. Among those targeted in the massive hack were, again, 200 million. You have Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Snapchat, is it Roblox?
Roblox, yeah.
PayPal, Netflix, Discord, many health platforms, and government platforms. The data is believed to have been stolen using a type of software called InfoStealer. That's a malware.
That's the name of it?
InfoStealer, malware. The malware infects individual devices and secretly steals saved passwords, autofill data, emails, documents, and browser cookies. It acts like a digital pickpocket, grabbing info stored on your computer or phone or whenever you are online. So what did they say? Go change your passwords. Use hard-to-guess passwords. Don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or password. Or
200 million passwords were compromised. I'm going to go on a limb and say 75% of those were not, quote-unquote, the easy ones.
Yeah. I am thoroughly convinced
People that can hack your password almost... Another guy I know that works in IT, and he works deep in it. He's like, dude, your password doesn't mean a damn. If I want to hack your account, I hack your account. It's like your password, as he would say, is like the low-level drug dealer.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the guy that sells crack on the street. He's not the big fish. He's like the big fish, the people that do what he does. And granted, he does it legally. He's like, we can get through anything. Your password is nothing.
So I've got a couple of different...
Brings me a lot of comfort every time I talk to this guy.
Hey, Mike, kill the microphones for 1 second. So I've been trying to use words. All right.
That was one of your passwords.
Well, there's more. There's numbers to it too.
Just the words alone.
Right. Yes.
You don't need to explain. You added numbers.
Some are capitalized.
What word? Some of it was it taken?
But that's what I've been doing.
Oh, 27.
No, that was the password.
Right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Were you competing to be the first one?
Those are the type of things I've been changing my passwords to.
Do you spell it correctly? Because if you do it with a K, I think it'd be even more difficult.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Right. Okay.
You know what? I might do it, but I'm going to do it with a K.
So then there's... All right?
Of course there is.
Because if someone actually can hack this stuff, I want them to see exactly my password and what they have to. So it's not going to be like the name of my dog.
Right.
Or my kids. Or none of that stuff.
Well, you can name...
I'm going for the throat on this. I'm this close to dropping an N-bomb on it.
I'd say... As a comedian came up with a good thing.
On a password.
Yeah, what happens when you're somewhere and somebody calls you and goes, what's your password? I need help.
It's with an A. I'm good.
There was a comedian years ago. What was it? Last Comic Standing?
That's kind of what inspired me.
But yeah, the comic came out, and he was the nerdiest dude you've ever seen. This guy's like 5'5", white dude, bowl haircut, and he kind of rocked his image. He walks out on stage, and the very first joke that he said, and this is network TV, and Damon Wayans is one of the judges, so he goes, I finally found a good use for the N-word. And they pan over to the judges. They're already pissed, right? Because, you see Damon Wayans is like, I'm going to kill this mofo. And he's like, it's my password. He's like, nobody ever guesses. But he came to the same conclusion as you. He's like, I just don't want it to go from a robbery to a homicide. If someone steals, my card for something, oh, man, what's your password? I don't want to tell you.
The other end of this, we go to Florida again. And believe it or not, a convicted felon is now behind bars in Florida again. And it's all thanks to the one chip challenge. Did you guys hear the story?
Oh, it's my shot of the day.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, sure, anyway, when you get out on parole, and look, the guy in the story is a very lengthy rap sheet, but whatever the case, he was put out on parole in March. So whatever you got to do to get parole, he earned that right.
Right.
One of the stipulations of his parole, and keep in mind, his rap sheet involves everything, but it can't have any alcohol or drugs.
Yeah, and that's right. Okay. So the police report basically said it was because of the hot chip challenge. It's when you eat a single tortilla chip that's crazy spicy. I believe that they did their own in this case.
They did.
And they covered it in Carolina Reaper dust.
Which is, I believe that's the hottest one out there. Or no, Pepper X or whatever he calls it.
Right.
So I want to say
Reaper was, and then
Reaper's
they just
number
made
2.
some. Yeah.
Right.
So the guy is 36. His name is Darren Delkes, and he's out on parole. This was in late March, and he was caught on video at a bar after attempting the one chip challenge. His parole agreement basically just said, hey, you're not allowed to have alcohol. He's got a long rap sheet and convictions for grand theft, burglary, credit card fraud, selling drugs. It is not clear how they found out about the video, but they arrested him on Wednesday for violating the terms of the parole. You see, after he put that chip in his mouth, he took a swig of someone's Corona because his mouth was on fire. It was not.
Keep in mind, someone else's.
It's not his beer. He just went, oh, God.
Right.
He grabbed this bottle and took a big swig out of it. But he's not supposed to be in a bar in the first place. And the agreement said also he could not go to bars.
That was in there. I was going to say, you can go to a bar and not drink.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He honestly wasn't.
But if it says part of his parole is not supposed to
go to a bar. Yeah.
Now, his parole officer said he's a risk to himself and others when he drinks, but he was not drinking at the time. His parole was set to expire in late 2026, but now he will be spending some or all of that time in a jail cell. So he's going to go back to jail
to cool his mouth down
for a year and a half because he took a swig of that Corona and was in a bar.
Because of the hot chip challenge.
More of the random Would You Rather question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
No offense, but your brain is a terrible place to keep your big idea. It belongs in the world, but you know that already. You have a calling, a voice that says, this is what I'm meant to do. Create the website your big idea deserves with Wix. Make it your own with top-to-bottom customization, AI to help realize your vision, and built-in business tools to turn your daydream into your dream job. Wix supports every stage of the business journey except one. Your decision to begin. Ready? Go to Wix.com.
So that's coming up at 4:30 right after emails and our random Would You Rather question. 206-803-ROCK. We just reset the phone line, so if you're on hold, call back now for the random Would You Rather question. In the meantime, I will give you guys
Random.
It's kind of a weird one. But would you rather be able to do something terrible to someone? Not the worst thing in the world, but kind of an ass move.
All right.
And nothing ever happens because of it. So it's not really a big deal. You're just being a D-bag to somebody.
But there's no consequences.
No consequences. Or
I'm already taking that.
Would you rather be forgiven for something that you've already done? Oh, first one. Okay. What would you, you could rob a bank, maybe, or whatever you want to do, as long as nobody gets, physically injured.
We can hurt them mentally.
Yeah, you could, look, man, you could walk into somebody's store and rob them blind. You could do something bad without ramifications. You could,
I'll do something bad.
Okay.
I'll do something bad. I know it sounds terrible, but look, I'm okay with...
We've all done bad things. It's the idea of, would you rather do another bad thing, or would you rather be forgiven for something that you've already done,
I'd rather do the bad thing because since there's no consequences, it's not something you ever have to be forgiven for, right? So your guilt is a little less. No one brings it up to you.
All right,
it's just kind of like, I robbed a bank. I got all this money. I know I shouldn't have, but who wouldn't rob a bank if you knew there'd be no consequences?
Well, it depends on the level of what you're going to do. You know, if...
Not hurt about it. Just steal money.
You know, whatever. If you want to open up your car on the dead road and do 140, if it'll do it,
Oh, yeah.
You could do it. But,
Walk into the evidence room of a local police department.
Take
Just take what I want.
Yeah.
Drugs, money. I'm probably done at that point, to be honest with you, but still. Just walk in and take the stuff.
So this wasn't the worst thing in the world, but if you saw the video of what this guy did, you're like, man, you are an ass. Like, that was absolutely uncalled for. A man was caught on camera knocking a tray out of a waiter's hand, sending food all over the floor at a restaurant along the Miami River. Louis Garcia, he is the owner of Garcia's Seafood Grill and Fish Market, said my first response was just anger. He was outraged after his cameras captured a man deliberately slapping a tray with more than a half dozen plates full of seafood out of the hand of one of his servers who was walking in a hallway on his way out to serve the patrons.
Yeah, I've seen that video. That is so petty.
And the dude just keeps walking.
Yeah.
Slaps it and keeps going.
The man just kind of walks out a glass door of the restaurant. As the server walks by, he just basically slams his hand out on the edge of the tray, causing all of the food that this guy is carrying to crash to the floor. Servers all obviously left with a look of confusion, just like, what in the hell, dude, as the guy just walks on by. He knocked over a tray full of food, which was unfortunate. It was Mother's Day. We had to make the food again. It was already busy. We have to clean the floors. And he said that while the video is shocking to watch, the man first confronted his general manager and walked right past a line of families that were there for Mother's Day. He literally walks up to our staff and kind of puts his chest out, which is uncalled for. Apparently, this guy wanted a seat at this restaurant with his family. He did not have a reservation.
That's how I've read.
That's how
it's
it
Mother's
started.
Day. It's packed. He barges into the restaurant first of all. Then the manager's like, you can't just sit here.
The guy said, from what was understood was the manager said, look, it might be 20 minutes. It could be in half an hour.
So not that you can't be here.
We will get you seated.
Right.
But the man said he demanded to be seated right now. And so the general manager's like, look, man, no, you need to leave. And the guy would not leave. And he asked him politely, repeatedly, look, I can take care of you, because the guy was screaming in front of the whole
right.
the whole deal.
Not a good look.
So he said, look, just leave. We're not going to serve you and your family if this is the way you're going to act, So when he was approached.
I also, for the record, when I read this story, can you imagine acting the fool like that in a restaurant and then just sitting there and eating?
No.
I can't.
You don't want to eat your food.
Yeah.
If the general manager said, you know what, sir, you're absolutely right. We'll put someone else out. Here's your table. Don't eat the food they serve you.
Yeah. And he said when he, approached Garcia, he got aggressive. He puffed the chest out, looked like he's going to punch him in the face and all this stuff. So that's when he said, look, you need to leave. The guy kept walking toward him. That's when he got on the phone and said, I'm going to call the cops.
Yeah.
So the guy blows out. The waiter's walking. He smacks the tray. He walks out the door, but he has not been seen since. And he's not been identified.
Okay.
So, not a big deal. But since the incident, several people have been calling to tip his server. He also says he's fortunate none of his staff or customers were hurt. And he also said this. He's just worried, look, this guy may have been struggling mentally.
Yeah,
something else is going on with him. So, don't be too hard on the guy if you find him. But you know what? It would be nice if you could just maybe apologize to the server or whatever the deal is.
Something.
We're not filing criminal charges or any of that stuff.
See, I didn't know the story. I just saw the video. So I kind of chuckled like, D-move. Well, what are you doing, man?
Okay.
I didn't realize what the story was behind. It doesn't justify it at all. Actually, it makes it like 10 times
it's worse.
Yeah, I thought it was just a guy who'd already paid his bill, right? Because that's why you see it on the video. Because on the video, the guy doesn't look angry. Mm-hmm. It's just a normal dude walking toward the door, slaps the tray, and I did laugh. And I'm just like, damn, man. That's unnecessary. Now that I'm hearing the story, okay, man, chill out.
Yeah, okay. So that's the guy doing the D-bag move, right? If you'd rather do something terrible to someone. Now, to be forgiven...
Wait, somebody here I like it says, well, what if you two-hand tickle the waiter? So you walk by, so you didn't slap it out of his hand, but you just, I don't know.
Slap's a tough thing. You've seen the video. But he basically just takes two fingers and just tips it. That waiter has that tray is full.
But would it be better, right? Because you get the same result that you've lost the food to the floor, but he like tickled the waiter under the armpits. Right? Instead of walking by and slapping it, just kind of coochie coochie.
Either way. You could put your foot out and trip the guy. It's the same outcome.
It is the outcome, but on video, it looks much better if you tickle him.
I mean, you might get a little bit of a chuckle out of it when you realize the severity of how much food was on that tray and the fact that it is a seafood place.
Look, I hear you. I'm just saying I agree with the caller.
I'm a seafood lover, so to see all that food, it was almost like watching barbecue hit the floor.
But just for the visual.
I was just like,
I
no.
agree. The tickle is better.
If they were at a vegetarian restaurant, I probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't care.
I mean, that's serious. Like,
I would also say, you got to, like, I don't know. I can just imagine me and my brother and I sitting there with our mom, and we know that's our food. We've been waiting, and that guy does that.
Yeah,
like,
hot drawn butter.
We're walking out and being like, hey,
buddy.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, man, what are you doing? Even though they made the food again, obviously, and everything
They
else.
did.
But
sure, the kitchen was delighted.
Right. That is not who you take the anger out on. I'm sorry. Like, some random dude you don't know.
Well, what are you angry about?
I was about to say, right? He has no reason to be angry.
There's nothing to be angry
exactly.
about.
Now, as far as the
that's why I go back to Thrill Squirrel. Like, I can't imagine screaming at somebody at a restaurant, I need this MFing table. They say, no, you better give me a table. Basically threaten them. Then they sit me. Like, I just...
Don't eat the food. Look, just a pro tip. If you cannot help yourself, right, you're just a douche. That is just who you are. And you have to make a scene at a restaurant. The pro tip, do it after you've eaten.
Right.
That's all. If you did, look, everyone will be kinder if you have not gotten your food yet. Like, you know what, sir? You're absolutely correct. Word's going to get to the kitchen. You're eating every form of DNA that there is. That is a guarantee. Yep. Any restaurant I've ever worked at, I feel like, look, man, the stable's... And typically, you hear about the stable kind of in advance. Little douchey, and it just kind of escalates. But at that point, when they put that table in, like, oh, we got you. And I mean, we get it up fresh, we get it out hot. Like, make sure that they get this food, man.
Now, as far as the being forgiven for something that you've already done, are you guys familiar with the show Chris Lee Knows Best?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I am.
Chris Lee Knows Best. I do not know anything about the show. What was the premise of what this couple was? What were they doing?
I think they were just rich and there were cameras on them. That's what I know. I never watched the show.
They were rich. There was cameras on them. He dressed the whole family and everything. He was like, oh, I'm really into fashion. You take what you want from it. It always seemed a little...
He's gay. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I don't...
He doesn't want to...
I didn't know if they were flipping homes. I didn't know if they were like...
As far as I know, they're just rich and there were cameras on them and they were welcoming to the cameras.
They lived in, Atlanta or something. Basically, I guess people want to see what rich a-holes kind of live like in Atlanta.
All right.
Yeah, that's the sense I get.
Okay. Well, just announced yesterday that they have been pardoned. The two of them were convicted in 2022 of falsifying documents to secure $30 million in fraudulent loans.
Damn.
I think we can do the math on where a lot of those loans came from.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been called out for taking advantage of some of the loans that were made available during the pandemic. I mean, let's face it, they are not alone in this. But then there's the tax evasion standpoint of it as well.
Right.
Okay? This was bad. I mean, what they did was bad. So he was sentenced to 12 years. Now, obviously, he's not going to serve the full 12 years.
No way.
His wife got 7. That's how severe what they did was. They were also ordered to pay $17.8 million in restitution.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty hefty sum. But basically... they've been given a pretty harsh treatment, according to the White House, based on what I'm hearing. So they have been pardoned, and they were, I believe, released from jail the same day.
Unbelievable. And they'll be back. I'm predicting they're back on TV in 6 months.
Oh, they'll be back soon.
2 months
It'll be a
close the
horror
deal.
story about how horrible jail was and this and that. But
jail's bad.
I don't know. I mean, if you run around saying law and order, it seems like they broke the law.
They did.
Yep.
Random.
Well, yeah, it's a lie.
Random.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Matt, welcome to the program and the random Would You Rather question. This is a very weird one.
All right.
Would you rather find a bear living under your home, okay? Or would you rather find a dead body in your pool?
To me, this is easy. I'm taking the dead body.
Dead body.
Assuming it's not someone I know. Right. If a bear is living under my home, then I have an actual issue because it's living under my home. If there's a dead body in my pool, I did not kill them. I do not know who they are. Call the cops, and I'm done.
Yeah, but if you're living, in a home and a bear's down there, could be Yogi the bear. Some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, sweet like that.
And those would be the last things that Matt
You're
said.
living in a bad neighborhood.
But look, yesterday Steve had bees in front of his home, which were problematic. It's not a bear.
Right.
Like, no one wanted to go outside because
Because
there's
of
a
bees.
huge beehive that somehow ended up on your street.
But I wasn't home, so I thought it was funny.
It is still there, isn't it?
Yeah, they're down the street, according to my wife. But they're all
So what
out.
do you mean? So the hive was moved?
No, we think we knew who busted open the hive just based on people we saw. Anyway, so at some point, my wife texted me to say there's like 1,000 bees in this 2-block area directly at the end of the driveway. I'm like, why? She's like, something happened to their hive. I'm like, all right. She's like,
So
but
you
look,
don't know the
they're not
neighbor
pissed.
or where this hive originally was?
I don't know where the hive was originally, but as we're leaving for work today, there's some construction going on. So I guess one of the giant orange cones about 200 yards away, she saw it. She said, it is covered in bees. So they're probably
So it
making
could have been
a nest
construction from the
under
light rail or something like that.
You know what? That's really good. Yeah, probably that, to be honest with you.
Okay, all right.
Well, if I had the bear, I wouldn't have the bees.
Hey,
Yeah, I
there
think
you
I'm
go.
taking the bear. I don't want to have to
Taking the bear.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
but
want
a
to.
dead body is just like you call somebody and then they come and pick up the dead body. Right?
I mean, that's my position on
I
this. Like,
do
look,
drain the pool. I do drain the pool.
Well, you kind
all
of have
that.
to.
But I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Because in this scenario, I did not kill this person. I do not know this person. Now, I do not know why someone put them in my pool. I don't know if they were hiding in my pool and things went south. I don't know. And it's creepy and it's messed up, but it's not an ongoing problem. Like you said, I call the cops. Cops can do whatever they got to do because I got nothing to do with it. A bear living under my home, like, I just want to come home from work. I don't know how long it's there, and I don't know what you do to get rid of it.
Yep. So the story about the bear, a bear took up in the crawl space of a home and prompted local frustration and fear about the creature's destructive capabilities, which were proven. The bear made himself comfortable. He lounged by the pool during the day. He brought food back to the crawl space from neighbors' trash at night. I think it found refuge under the home, and it's definitely not moving. That is the bear's home. Now, the bear has left claw marks on neighborhood trash bins, torn insulation from underneath homes, and they say is probably the culprit behind several broken fuses, as well as a recent attack on a neighbor's pet goat.
Oh,
They estimate this bear at a minimum weighs 600 pounds.
600.
600
Okay.
pounds. And he's not the only local resident to discover an unbearable problem when returning home after the fire. There was another homeowner that had another bear underneath their home. Now, this all happened during the Eaton fire. Crews were too scared of the 525-pound black bear living underneath the home. California Department of Fish and Wildlife officials, they were eventually able to lure that bear out using peanut butter and rotisserie chicken.
Hey, now.
Rotisserie chicken. That's what finally, and they tried other foods, okay? He wouldn't come out. They did successfully relocate the bear to the Angeles National Forest. Now they're trying to get the agency to do the same thing with his uninvited guest. They did that before with the 525-pounder. They're trying to figure out now what to do with the 600-pounder. Different bear. I feel really sorry for this bear. I know we're encroaching on their territory, so I'm sympathetic to that. Same time, I've got a property to protect, and I'm the one that's probably going to get hurt. It is a wild animal. The agency is still aware of the bear, and they're working on a response.
Can't they just trank the thing and drag it out or something?
They don't believe that they can physically get it out of the crawl space.
Oh, so even if they
based
trank
on
it,
the
that
size.
big, yeah.
Damn.
Correct. They did file
See,
a
the
report
pool,
about the bear.
the body's already out of the pool. Just saying.
Exactly.
And as one of our texters said, it would also mean that I own a pool.
Right. Keep in mind, this was his. This
That's
was
kind of a nice point.
Yeah.
This was his second summer home. Where this was located, that fire was in a forested area.
Right.
All right. So he lives there in the summer. This is his family's home. They've been going there for the summer.
Oh, so he showed up for the summer and bear
He
was
showed,
there. Okay.
that's what I'm saying. He still has a home to live in.
Okay.
This is his family's home, but the bear is tearing up all of the, again, fuses have been busted out. Insulation's been pulled out. The bear's trying to get into the house through the floorboards. So he can go there, but the bear, every time he goes, has not left. So the bear is still there. Now we have the story of a Long Island homeowner and got a grim surprise this past Sunday when he took the cover off of his pool for the season. The resident found the body of a man the police believe could be that of a fugitive murder suspect, Matthew Zoll. Authorities say the homeowner called 911 after finding the body, which has apparently been there for some time. Now, Zoll was a 23-year-old resident of nearby Rocky Point, and he disappeared after he allegedly stabbed his dad to death back in November. Now, police say Zoll crashed a black GMC Yukon and then fled the scene. The wooded lot was directly behind where that crash occurred and where the entrance from the freeway to a fence is where this guy's pool is.
Okay.
So they think that he crashed the car, he ran off, saw the pool. He figured the best place that he could hide was inside underneath the tarp.
Well, he wasn't wrong.
But obviously something
I'm
happened.
just saying, he got that right.
Now, reportedly the guy is schizophrenic. He did escape on foot. And that was around 1:35 a.m. So U.S. Marshals, they spent days searching for this guy. They believe he was hiding in there probably the entire time. They said there's a strong possibility. They're still looking at it, that the body in the pool is Zoll. And they're still waiting for DNA to come back. They're 100% positive based on certain things.
Sure.
This is the guy. They just got to make sure it is, in fact, him. But they don't know also if he drowned, if he froze to death, if he hypothermia. They're still not aware
it
of
could
the
have been the
hazard.
accident, just like you got a concussion or something. You actually pass out and you're in the pool.
Right.
Because you said it was a car accident before he took off on his foot, right?
After he stole the vehicle.
By the way, someone has a suggestion about what might be going on with the bees around my house. Because, again, we're just trying to figure out why is there a swarm of bees down there. Says the bees could actually be a swarm looking for a new place to build a hive. I got trapped by a swarm like that once as a security guard. They just came out of nowhere. The queen decided to land in the apartments I was patrolling, so the whole swarm buzzed around and then landed all around her. It happens in the spring.
I wonder if that person got stung, though. I mean, are they aggressive when they're just on the move?
If they're protecting their queen, they are, man. That's right. The queen's out of the hive, I would think they're...
But I mean, I'm 50 yards away from the queen. I'm walking down the street. Are they coming after my ass?
50 yards, no, but how,
you know what I mean?
how close would you get?
I don't know. I don't know they're there. I'm just walking down the road. So I'm not really going after
They're going to
the
get
queen.
your ass soon, then. Yeah.
I mean, if it's my house and I walk up to the door, I can understand being attacked.
Sure.
But am I a threat if I'm just walking around the area?
I mean, it's up to the bee to decide.
Are you eating a banana?
Did anyone in your neighborhood get stung?
Not that I know of. But someone's coming to let down.
Who Sucks Last? Sucks Last is coming up at 4:30, and we got your emails on the way next from the men's room at KISW.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You know where your business would be without you. Imagine where it could go with more of you. Well, with Wix, you can create a website with more of your vision, your voice, your expertise. Wix gives you the freedom to truly own your brand and do it on your own. With full customization and advanced AI tools that help turn your ideas into reality. Grow your business into your online brand. Because without you, your business is just business as usual. Go to Wix.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Who Sucks Last is coming up at 4:30, but first time for a few emails to the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Jumping to the birthdays brought to you by Men's Room Roasted Red Salsa from San Juan Salsa Company.
Dip responsibly.
Gentlemen, today is my oldest son Brady's 6th birthday. Awesome kid, even better big brother to our little Tasmanian devil of a 2.5-year-old who's always causing havoc. I'm hoping to get him a birthday message from Mickey and Goofy about having Red Robin today, then going to the Great Wolf Lodge this weekend. Much love, dudes, and maybe some words of advice about being an older sibling. That from Justin, a.k.a. the Dad.
Well, God, Red Robin sure does sound like a fantastic place to grab you some dinner tonight. Maybe tell your dad to order the pulled pork nachos. We got it on good authority that they're pretty dang delicious. And as far as Great Wolf Lodge goes, you can't not have fun, but do yourself a favor. Do not get water in your mouth.
Ah, he's right. You know, Great Wolf Lodge, you can do a lot of stuff down there. The main thing is tonight, though. So don't forget to look Dad in the eye and tell him you need that donut ring tower at the end of dinner.
You been to the Great Wolf Lodge?
No.
I think you would love it.
Are you sure?
There's a lot of kids there, you know what I mean? But it's, if you like swimming, if you like slides.
My wife went there 2 years ago with a friend.
Did she have fun?
No. My wife said she hated it passionately. In fact, she brought up Wild Waves. We're going by Wild Waves the other day. And I got it confused with Great Wolf Lodge because she goes, man, I might take the kids there. I'm like, I thought you swore in your life you'd never do it again. She's like, no. Wild Waves I like. Great Wolf Lodge, they spent the night. It was not for her.
Boo, bitches, for my 47th trip around the sun, I would love to hear Mickey perform the speech from the movie Braveheart. Does Mickey know the speech from the movie Braveheart?
Oh, damn it. I read that earlier.
Is it
Which
long?
one is he thinking?
I don't know.
It's got to be the one that ends with freedom, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what he says before. Sounds bad, but he ends with, no, he screams freedom when he's being killed.
Also, the captain telling the story about how the Crazy Squares replaced Chef Wendell.
Well, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. If you look at the commercials now, it's not Wendell, it is the Crazy Squares.
And what else? Miles telling some dad jokes about smoking meat, as I have some beef short ribs on the smoker as we speak. Attached a few pics of what they'll look like right around dinner time. Thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do for the state and for the mental state of all your listeners. Fan for life. That from Saul. Let's see.
Yeah.
You got it?
Hold on. Multiple people working on it.
Right there, all the way through.
Hi! Fight, and you may die. Run, and you will live. At least for a while. Dying in your beds many years from now. Would you be willing to trade all that for days and that one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies they would take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
Jesus, God.
Ooh. Well, ahoy there and happy birthday. Mickey, that's a hell of a speech you give at Disney World. Every morning before the park opens.
I'll never take us from Orlando.
But as far as the Crazy Squares taking over for poor Chef Wendell, who, by the way, now unemployed, selling his body for 25 cents a pop, as he calls it. But the Crazy Squares, they got their big break when the geniuses of General Mills agreed that the better way to appeal to Americans was to depict an actual cereal. As a group of cannibalistic squares, they'd eat each other when they're in the same bowl of milk because nothing sells quite like a product that involves cannibalism. And that's why the We'll Eat You Elmo should be out in time for Christmas. Crunch berries.
Just because we've talked about it twice, the barbecue pork nachos at Red Robin, it is made with their Yukon chips.
Oh, okay.
Substitute
Chip, yeah. I'm sorry, it's come up 2 or 3 times. I'm on the website. Let's just get it out there.
Check.
God damn it.
Grilling jokes. All right, what do we got? Guys, I just finished cleaning my grill.
Oh, yeah?
It was great. Tell you about some grilling jokes. What do you call a steak that's been knighted? What do you call a steak that has been knighted?
Sirloin.
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 And you guys have had exotic burgers before, right? Just different stuff?
Sure.
I was watching my dad grill burgers when I was a kid, and he handed me one, and he told me it was a bison burger.
Yeah?
And then he left and never came back. Harsh. All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Rob. A couple extra emails. Subject is podcast, which are available on the Odyssey app. Gentlemen, thank you for the full show podcast. Been a listener for the better part of 18 years, and I've loved every year transition to the podcast when I went to school out of state. So big thanks to Tim and Dan for making that happen.
Who's Dan?
Yeah, who's Dan?
The hell?
Hey, Tim, who's Dan? Anyway,
No.
we don't know. Okay. To whoever adds in the commercials, can they be put in normal commercial spots in the show? I know what's happening here. They're just breaking into the entire thing and putting the ads in whenever they want, right?
Yeah, we're working on that.
Okay, well, there we go.
Well, ideally, when you make them, there's like markers and stuff, but
with the full one, I guess, maybe, I don't know.
Sometimes you just get a little bit skewed. No worries.
right, I was going to say, so it's very hard to kind of put them in there exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Isaac,
the sense I'm getting.
Isaac, they're trying to do that. But from what we understand, the full show thing is a very convenient thing for people. We'll get it figured out. It's relatively new, so hopefully we'll get that ironed out. A couple more here. What do we got here? From Sit and Spin. We had some of the dumbest song lyrics of all time.
Yes.
This email comes in. Someone left a cake out in the rain, and I don't think that I can take it because it took so long to bake it, and I'll never have that recipe again. Now that's bad. That from Scott in Bremerton.
Who is the band?
I remember the song. It was like this female artist that sang it. Maybe it's called Someone Left the Cake Out in the Rain.
Oh, that was more from MacArthur Park.
Oh, that was MacArthur Park as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was
I still, one of my favorite Biggie lines of ever, and it is stupid, but again, in rap, I like simple stuff. The more I smoke, the smaller the Philly gets. Or you had 50 Cent with, I love you like a fat kid loves cake.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's love.
I mean, it's love. That's how much he loves her.
That's the only point he was really making.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got here? Food from home. We had a question about food that was regional to you or things that you grew up with, whether...
Yeah, it seemed like home
you
to
know,
you.
like,
Yeah.
Fellas, being that I am from the same general area as you are, D.C. Metro, there was a pizza place in my hometown of Woodbridge that made what they called hippie rolls. There were so many mom and pop pizza places when I was growing up in the 80s. I went back there a few years ago, and even though the pizza place I went to moved, I had a fresh hippie roll for lunch. Imagine pizza dough around peppers and onions.
Okay.
Very legitimate. Regards, that from the fan formerly known as Wagoninus. Wagoninus.
I was emailing this guy back and forth. I grew up in that area. I had never heard of these.
Me neither,
So,
man.
does it look like a pepperoni roll with just, I guess, onions and peppers in it?
Yeah, vegetables, hippie roll, right.
I mean, it looks more almost like a stromboli, I guess. Look, because the pepper, like,
Oh, you
that's
can't,
like
you can't get
pizza.
it with meat in there.
That's like pizza dough with like 2 sausage links in there.
So it's basically like, yeah, it's a brat inside of a calzone.
But without the brat.
Or whatever kind of meat you want to put in there. All right, let's see here. Coming up at 5:08, we will drink and toast with a shot of the day. But first...
Now, the men's room wants to know, who sucks last?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Last. Stephen Throw, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every day. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of these 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Facebook, X, and on Instagram, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yeah, and if you're here at the top of the show, we mentioned that all 3 stories today revolve around the world of medical insurance. But in this case, let's start with an individual. One Dr. Jorge Quezada. He falsely diagnosed many of his patients, some as young as 13, with rheumatoid arthritis over the course of 20 years, putting them through tests, hours of intravenous infusions, and what federal prosecutors described as, quote, other excessive, repetitive, and profit-driven procedures. The more than $118 million in fraudulent health insurance claims the Texas physician submitted paid for his high-rolling lifestyle. And last week, Quezada, whose medical license was canceled, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the crime. So here's some of the stuff. Some of the things he did, they say, a cover-up. So this guy, Quezada, He dropped any patients who questions his diagnosis, and he hired employees that he could manipulate over their immigration status, okay? He then fabricated records, sometimes took ultrasounds of employees that he used as documentation for insurer audits. So a lot of times the x-rays he sent to the insurers, it was someone else entirely. He hid patient records in an old barn in Rio Grande Valley. They were found covered with feces, urine, rodents, and termites. So that's where he keeps his actual record. Well, wait. His patients, some of whom gave chemotherapy drugs. They suffered strokes, necrosis of the jawbone, hair loss, liver damage, and debilitating pain. The number of patients this guy misdiagnosed is still not known. The haul he got from Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, and Blue Cross Blue Shield paid him a total of more than $28 million in false claims. Quezada amassed 2 luxury penthouse apartments in Mexico, one in San Diego, one in Aspen, and another one in Punta Mita, Mexico, as well as multiple homes and commercial properties in Texas. He also traveled between his offices in San Antonio on a private jet and a Maserati. Anyway, he ended up getting convicted of conspiracy to commit health care fraud. So he basically took home $28 million. So one thing to both the insurance industry, he was also lying to his patients.
He's in jail, though.
He is in jail. He was just sentenced 10 years. Now we go to United Health Group, the healthcare conglomerate. Well, they're facing a criminal investigation over possible Medicare fraud. Security paid nursing homes hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses to cut hospital transfers for ailing residents, risking the patient health while it saved millions of dollars. So basically, numerous cases were identified where nursing home residents, they needed immediate hospital care, but they failed to receive it after United Health's intervention. So back in 2019, one case right here in Washington State, a nursing home resident, they were showing what they call textbook symptoms of a stroke, indicating immediate hospitalization was needed. But a United Health employee, they wanted to see a less serious condition ruled out first. And that's for an update, not in minutes, but in 4 hours. Get back to us in 4 hours. Let us know. In a similar case that year, a United Healthcare employee delayed requesting a hospital transfer for a patient with stroke symptoms, forcing the nurses to bypass the system. It took an hour, and the patient suffered permanent brain damage. And other United Health nurses say they faced pressure to persuade Medicare Advantage members to adopt, quote, do not resuscitate orders. Think about that. Why? Well, an effort to prevent costly hospital stays, because if you're dead, you're going to have to pay for you to be anymore. And as the nurses say, quote, a lot of times the nurses, they want to send people out, but we have to go in and try to stop it. That's according to a United Healthcare nurse. And if we don't, they take us to the carpet. The sense is, look, they're medically frail. No one lives forever. No one is truly investigating when the patient suffers harm. And then, of course, the investigation went through a bunch of internal emails to prove the point. So there's that case. All right. Now we go to Santa Monica, California, where a man was preparing to fly across the country for a life-changing double lung transplant when his insurance company denied him coverage. So Darren Wells, he's battling stage 4 lung cancer. Now, the husband and father of 3, he's also now battling his insurance company. Quote, I'm really sad that my life is in the hands of these decision makers who seem to make these decisions in such a cold way. So the 59-year-old and his family say that Cigna Healthcare, they approved him for the procedures that would allow him to be transferred to Northwestern Medicine in Chicago for a clinical double lung transplant surgery, and he'd been medically approved for it. So initially they said, you know what, do it. Well, as they were actually preparing to leave California to go to the facility, Cigna denied coverage for both the transplant and the medical transfer to Illinois. Quote, the last option we have is for us to take him to Northwestern, period. I hope Cigna really understands the seriousness of the situation. We're not just a number. We're talking about his life. That from his wife. And to say lung transplants are not standard treatment for lung cancer, but in this case, it is something exploratory. They think it might work for this guy. So Cigna signed off on it. And then the day he's going to leave, they're like, no. So like I said, today's all the fun stuff with our lovely American health insurance industry. So we have the doctor in Texas. He's actually lying to the patients as well as bilking the insurance. And he made $28 million over 20 years doing that.
You can't. How are we supposed to weigh this?
I mean, the only way I can kind of figure it out, right, is the first guy falsely died. First, when I first saw this list, I was going to pick him. But then you realize he's putting kids through chemo.
Right.
And other people are getting sick, losing their hair.
Right. That's
The
awful.
patients don't know.
They were fine. until they got all these things that they did
Well,
not
chemo's
need.
terrible for
Right.
people.
Yes.
And then the only real way I can noodle it out in my head is because the last one only involves a patient
versus the other ones.
versus the other ones where it's a ton of people. I would lean towards that would suck the least.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm
Just,
inclined to
again,
situationally. Look, here's the thing. So we already know how health insurance in this country works, which is it doesn't. All right. So you're never shocked when you hear that insurance is not going to cover something medically. And it sucks because in this case, this guy needs the double lung transplant, stage 4 cancer. But see, they had signed off on this. Like they knew his situation.
Right.
But on the day that he's going to do the thing that they approved, then they decided not to approve it. But they're out. To be fair, Cigna's out on this. I say, look, our coverage guidelines are grounded in national clinical standards to help ensure the best possible outcome for patients. So that statement, they're out, is the fact that lung transplants are not a standard treatment for lung cancer.
And I'm assuming there's no way he could just say go through with it.
I mean, he could, but he's got to pay for it. I mean, look, the surgery can still happen. That's not taken off the table. It's just not out of pocket. Me personally,
It's more also the time to recoup in the hospital. You can't just
you got to pay
just
for all
get
that
two
too.
lungs and then just walk
Just
out.
right. You're not leaving the next day.
So the whole thing,
Feel
it's an
great.
issue. Like it can be done, but you got to figure out a way to put it. And look, dude, if you break your leg, it can put you through bankruptcy. So I would just imagine when you have stage 4 lung cancer, getting a double lung transplant. This is hundreds upon thousands of dollars, if not lower millions. So yes, he could do it. Can he pay for it? Probably not.
And I'm assuming they'd probably be like, you got to pay for this up front or something. It just
Can a
seems
hospital
crazy.
do that?
I don't know. The crazy, it happened that day.
Yeah,
Like, I don't,
yeah.
If I'm that guy, if I'm that person, I think I would just like, just do it. Like, we'll figure out something.
Yeah, at this
Like,
point.
you're already ready. And then, but again, it only affects him. And when you hear me say it like that, I know that's not like, that is awful.
It's in context.
Yes.
It's in
It is.
context.
So you're just
Right.
playing a numbers game. That's all.
Correct. So just
That's
the
it.
numbers game, I'm just like, that's only one guy. So that's, again, I would say that sucks the least.
Okay.
Where are you at, Miles?
I agree with you, which is terrible. But I mean, it's based on the fact that it's one person instead of numerous instances where people's lives were put on the line. So, I mean, the doctor's in jail. He did not kill anybody.
He didn't.
He did not kill anybody, but he made a whole bunch of people's lives miserable.
But
for
the
no
the
reason.
thing that I weigh with, so I agree with both of you guys that what's his face sucks the least, the Cigna in this case. But as far as the other two go, it's tough because you have United Health is like, look, they're already in a nursing home, they're close to death, so just kind of let them ride it out miserably until the day they die. The doctor, it was kids as young as 13 who did not have problems, or if they did, they didn't have the problems that he diagnosed. So I don't know, I'm torn on that.
I just feel like if you're 12 or 13 and you got to go through that,
yeah,
that has an impact on everything in your life. I mean, look at your son. Look how active he is.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if all of a sudden he's got to go to chemo.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean that would crush a lot of the things he's into.
Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you like KISW on Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Okay, coming up at 5:08, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Running a business can be exhausting. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI. From site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want, and manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
9.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
All right, so cut out 5:08, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check on Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Well, thank you, Miles. Residents of Florida are being warned about cane toads infesting the area.
Mm-hmm.
Which I had never heard of, but apparently they'll kill your pets.
Yeah, they're toxic.
Yeah.
And your pet will eat them. That's basically the whole thing.
Correct. Oh. Do they
So,
cause harm to people?
Dog puts a toad in the mouth. Next thing you know.
I don't
You don't
believe
think.
so. I think if you lick it, it might get. Is that one of the ones that has hallucinogenic properties?
I don't believe so. I think
Okay.
this is just straight bad.
You're just
Even
gonna
the
get
ones
sick.
that people do, like that's down in like the southwest of our country and like Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you gotta like
Them
But
desert
still, there's a
toads.
way. You can't just lick them.
Sure.
right. You
Well,
gotta like
not successful.
You gotta get it off him and then scrape it off something and then smoke it.
Good God.
Yeah.
That's involved.
I watched a whole series years ago where this guy just went around. It was it Hamilton's Pharmaceutical? Basically, he went to all these different places around the world and tried these medicines.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's because I'm with you. I thought you just licked a toad. Then I saw him do that. I was like, that's how they're doing
Made
it.
him sign up with the Jets.
No. And then the Steelers. A major study revealed that losing weight in your 40s could add years to your life.
Well, no kidding.
Shocking.
How about
Duh.
any time?
Right.
Right.
Get your body in shape. You're going to do great. Damn, man.
Oh, help your joints.
A sperm donor with a rare genetic mutation apparently fathered 67 children,
And he has a mutation.
and 10 of them have cancer.
Jeez, man.
Oh,
God.
wow.
Don't they screen donors?
That's what.
Or maybe
that-
they didn't at the time he did it. I
That's
don't know.
what this story is then about. Is like, oh, we're going to start taking a deep
Now
dive.
they're starting.
Well, yeah. That's where we're at. Researchers looked into why we can't tickle ourselves. You
I
ever
always
tried to-
wonder that.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you
a
just
good point.
you don't laugh, you don't freak out.
Right.
Because you know you're doing it.
That's exactly right. When somebody else comes up behind you or whatever it is they're attacking you with it, your brain can't predict their movements.
So even though you know they're tickling, at this point, like, I'm going to tickle you.
Correct. Because you still have those tickle spots on your body.
Sure.
But when you go there, your brain
Already has defense
in a
set up.
millisecond. Yes, defends it, knows where you're going,
I'm trying to outsmart my brain.
and protects it. Right. And I think there are times when you can actually,
For
if
a
you-
billionth of a second.
if you do it just right, you can tickle yourself a little bit. However, other people have a much easier time because you think about when you're doing it, you kind of go with the squiggle fingers there.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. You can't think that fast. You can't just blanket defend an area.
Okay.
You can
All
hold it off for a while, but
Tickling's one of those things, kind of like wrestling. Innocent, depending on how you say it, right?
okay.
Want to wrestle? Creepy.
Hey man, you want to get tickled?
Yeah, you want to tickle?
Yeah.
Gucci goo, right? But you wouldn't think about it like,
Gucci goo, bro.
right? Like tickling somebody.
Tickle time, bro.
Gucci goo.
Daddy's home is tickle time.
Right.
Gucci goo.
Let me get in them sides. Show me the bottom of your feet.
Well, I brought a feather. Ready for fun?
This one's French. There's an aquarium in Virginia that's hosting an adults only sleepover.
And what is the point of it?
Was that serve booze or something?
I think
Probably.
will.
Or
Tickle
is this
fights.
make love by the Shark Tank?
I'm not positive.
With the shark.
But I gotta assume it's 21 plus. So maybe it's just a time to be in the damn aquarium without some snot-nosed kids
I
running around.
think that's really what it's about.
We're gonna shut off the lights.
Hallucinogenics involved.
I was about to say-
I think there's more to this than just sleeping in an
Pop
aquarium.
a few cans, take an edible.
And maybe they're more active at night. I don't know.
Right? They're gonna turn on the cool lights. Yeah. I mean, it'd be fun. I need transportation, but I think it'd be fun.
I'm with you.
Right.
I mean, it would be cool to like pull a girl aside and be like, "Want to make love on the Shark Tank?" Just because.
Look at that animal.
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
but I'm with
Wants
you.
to make love on a Shark Tank.
Want to make love on the sharks? But I'm with you. I'd more than likely.
No, but I'll F by the dolphins.
Yeah.
Then you find the girl that wants the octopus next to her, like, oh, no.
Get those tentacles in there, brother.
Because the aquariums are full of kids. It's a great place to take kids. So you wouldn't want to be in there on a psychedelic. But at night,
That'd be trippy, man.
The problem is that you can't go back to that aquarium afterwards because then you just start looking at that spot like, I made that spot wet.
Or all the same dolphins come over. It's kind of like, I remember you. You crushed it.
Hey, this guy's the stuff of legends.
Is that dude?
This man's a machine.
why do the dolphins get so weird around you?
They start miming next to you. Like,
Yeah,
you remember?
Remember?
A new study found that daylight boosts your immune system's ability to fight infection.
Haven't they known that for a million years?
It's almost like
Yeah.
we're daylight walking creatures.
It's almost like the sun has something to do with life on Earth.
Right.
Who would have thunk it?
has a vitamin that it might be able to give you there.
Next, water.
Yeah, to say, water's good for you.
Water consumption.
Whoa.
Over the course of 4 hours, a sting operation in Nevada garnered 147 citations for various traffic violations.
So,
saw
my question is, what is the posted speed limit? Because it's probably in the middle of Nevada someplace.
Right. On the way to Vegas, probably.
It might be 80, 85. I don't know what the top can be, right?
You cannot believe, when we went to New Mexico a couple of years ago, I want to say the posted speed may have gotten as high as 85. And we were still speeding, but we were still in the right lane. Because I guess if you live there, you're super...
Yeah.
And it's miles upon miles of straight road. It's flat as F.
Right.
And these people, upwards of 100 miles an hour, and that is not an exaggeration. However, that said, on that same trip, we had to jam on the brakes because there's a civilian standing in the road kind of flagging people to slow down. There had been a car accident. And, man, when cars are going that fast, just the debris field from two vehicles, it looked like the space shuttle crash there, man.
Oh, my God.
I told you that's when the helicopter landed outside of the door. They threw a sheet over a body. I didn't see the body before they threw the sheet. But then, as they're driving away from the scene, and again, because my wife and I were commenting, like, this is what happens when you drive fast, right? It's just, these cars were obliterated. But the thing I remember most, just this little girl, maybe 4 years old, she was okay, at least physically.
Yeah.
But someone was tending to her, and I just thought, man, I don't know if her parent, Jesus. Yeah, it was just...
Yeah, she knows to figure out her life.
It was bad.
Damn, dude.
I thought about it Monday, right? Memorial Day traffic on I-90. There's certain parts where it's 70 and stuff.
You bet.
But when there's that much traffic, and I said to my buddy, like, we were cruising along, and I shouldn't have said it, but I was like, there's bound to be an accident. There's just so much... All the cars are so close and everything. Yeah. You know what I mean?
In an area where they shouldn't be.
Right, and you're going that fast. I'm with Thrill. I'm not trying to make light of it, but it's like when you
cannot believe how
you watch
fast
NASCAR. Sometimes they're like four wide. It's like, well, something's going to happen.
Something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
The average American only feels "quote unquote" fully healthy 19 days out of the month.
Out of the month,
right? Which at first I thought it was per year.
Yeah.
And then I read it closely. I was like, wait a minute, per month. Like, okay, that's more than half the month they feel fully healthy. Like, okay.
Yeah, maybe
that's
ate
not bad.
Too much, you drink too much. There's a million reasons why you don't feel your best.
You twinge something.
Just get a headache.
Right.
You got
something out of your control.
We got the allergies that are coming through right now.
God, yeah, people are going down.
I've been sneezing like crazy today.
The country of Turkey is now issuing fines to airline passengers that get up from their seats before the plane stops taxiing.
That's just learned behavior.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Good. Just wait, but once they go bing, everyone pops up.
I hate those people.
Same, dude. And then they start crushing in front of you. Like, what?
You know what else? I hate the people who hoard the gate before you're getting on. Because, look, there are people trying to walk off that damn plane.
Yeah.
Make a little bit of move. And if you're if you're first class, I guess.
You're going to be first on the plane.
If you're military or
you're going to be first on the plane.
Just get up. We know it.
You're in Group E, bro.
When they go Group 3 or whatever the hell, get up and walk over.
Right.
You have to stand there like you're, going to barge in at any moment.
Clog the entire terminal so people can't walk by.
There's 3 more groups that's got to go ahead of you.
Also, I'll do you one better. The doggone baggage claim. There is a line of people that are just crowded around an empty damn baggage claim. And then finally, my bag shows up, and I look like the jackass because I'm throwing shoulders like, guys, I got to get my damn bag. You're clearly not getting yours. Get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing, a C-tag. Seriously, man. What's
the deal?
In the best of days, baggage claim such that C-tag, in my experience, weren't any other major airport that I've been in. Right? Consistently. When are you going to be done with construction down there? Have you been there since? Good.
Dude, I told you a couple weeks ago, it took my buddy, I swear to God, like 45 minutes, at least 40, to get from the cell phone lot to pick me up.
Oh, true. We had a woman on the elevator probably about a month ago, and she was not complaining or anything. She just had a travel bag with her, right? So clearly she left the airport and come straight here to meet whoever she's meeting in the building. So where are you coming from? I'll say she's like Dallas or whatever. Flying to SeaTac? She says, yeah. How long do you have to wait for your bag? Then she whips around and looks us both in the eye. She's like, 45 minutes. That's why we asked, man. I don't know what the hell goes on there.
Thrill, what day is it, my friend?
Today is National Hug a Cactus
You're
Day.
right, National Burger Day.
Yes.
The Men's Room Top 10.
Hey. We're going to make you hungry.
Top 10.
Nice.
10 or more juicy facts about hamburgers.
Yummy.
White Castle traces the origin of the hamburger to Hamburg, Germany, with its invention by Otto Kraus. Guten Tag. But there's more to the story, as there always is. An elusive serial killer named Hans Gruber was on the loose in Deutschland, and he was using a meat grinder to dispose of his latest victim. In the arduous and laborious task of dismembering a human body, this deviant got the tummy grumbles. So he fired up a hot griddle, took some of the ground up man meat, formed it into a patty, and fried himself up a sandwich. And the rest is history. Hamburgers are people.
Hans Gruber. So, while he did say that it was from Hamburg, Germany, one of the facts that I do have on here is that the actual origins of the hamburger are disputed. They're not fully known.
Yes, that's what I always hear.
But Hamburg, Germany does play into this one. Did you guys know that during World War I, the U.S. government tried to rename hamburgers as Liberty sandwiches? In an effort
to freedom fries, Liberty sandwich,
all sticks.
In an effort to avoid using German nomenclature.
Okay.
And to promote patriotism.
Liberty burgers.
All right. Liberty sandwiches.
Liberty sandwiches.
I've always heard like a couple versions, but also hamburgers were like a fair food, and then we started eating them.
Right, and then I've heard that it started as a beef patty, and then somebody eventually put it onto a bun.
Well, the original one I know is Louis. I think it's called Louis Lunch in like Connecticut.
Okay.
And they would like steam them, and then it's like on bread with like cheese.
It's American cuisine.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Italians, they go, these are mangia meatballs.
Right.
Italian.
Juicy facts about hamburgers. The world's most expensive hamburger was Wagyu beef and beluga caviar, and costs how much do you think? Wagyu beef, beluga caviar, most expensive burger.
$500.
$500. Mr. Hill.
Let's say 5,000.
5 G's. Ted Smith.
Is it specifically the world's most expensive burger?
The world's most expensive burger.
Oh, no, it's got to be. I don't know. We'll say 100,000.
Thrill, you're the closest without going over. $6,000.
$6,000.
Find it in the Netherlands. Created by the Golden Boy. Let's see. The Hamburger Hall of Fame. The Hamburger Hall of Fame
asking us where it is?
located in Seymour, Wisconsin.
All right. I mean, are they Butterburger, Ted, or are they...
I don't know.
Well, Wisconsin's got one, I know. Minnesota's got one. So when they stuff with butter, and they've got some that they stuff with cheese.
Well, Juicy Lucy's
Juicy
from
Lucy.
Minnesota. I want to say Minneapolis.
So it says here...
I don't know. I thought the Butterburger was just like they cooked it in butter.
It says here the state legislature of Wisconsin in 2007 decreed the town of Seymour as the official home of the hamburger, attributing the invention to local legend Hamburger Charlie in 1885.
Hamburger Charlie. I bet he's a fun guy.
Hamburger Charlie.
Oh, you just wait. We'll get all yacked up on Hamburger Charlie.
You guys ever heard of Hamburg, New York?
I don't think so.
Hamburg, New York was once offered $15,000 to change their name to Veggieburg from what organization other than
PETA?
PETA.
Of course.
Come on, y'all.
Why have a better use for money?
Why doesn't PETA take that money and open their own restaurant?
So I get money to PETA, and that's what you're going to do with it?
Yeah.
That's why you don't get money.
God. Oh, God. Juicy facts about hamburgers. McDonald's Arch Deluxe was one of the most expensive product flops of all time, they say. In 1996, McDonald's attempted to introduce a hamburger called the Arch Deluxe, a higher-end burger marketed specifically to adults. It was released with one of the most expensive advertising campaigns to date and was a complete and utter failure. I don't remember the Arch Deluxe at all.
The only thing I know about it is that it failed. Like that, it's like New Coke back in the day,
right? You remember it, Ted?
I do. I remember it being awesome.
It was hot on one side, cool on the other. Is that the idea? With unpackaging a bigger box. So
no, it was just a fancier
cool, stay cool, right?
No, because I think they'd already gotten rid of it. It was just like a fancier burger, some kind of special bun, had like a sauce, and then like baked. If I remember right, I'm looking it up, but I remember that thing was awesome.
Misaligned pricing and perceived value, and featured ingredients like Dijon mustard, peppery spice.
That's what it was. Like,
okay,
and like
smoky bacon.
Right at that age, like we didn't have
that's
a lot
my
of
jazz name, Smoky Bacon.
Dijon mustard. So it's like, what is all this thing? It's not real.
Dijon. Oh, it's got the split top potato bun too.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was. You were like, wow, this is much different.
There is an Illinois mom-and-pop restaurant legally named Burger King. In 1968, in Mattoon, Illinois, a small restaurant called Burger King won a lawsuit against the giant fast food chain of the same name because they had trademarked the name first.
Well, then they better pay them money.
Exactly. And today, there are no Burger King legally allowed to come into existence within 20 miles of that original restaurant.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All right.
wild. Who's known for their square hamburgers?
Wendy's.
Not original to Wendy's. Wendy's founder Dave Thomas got his inspiration for Wendy's famous square burgers from Kewpie's, a hamburger joint in his hometown of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was from Ohio.
And apparently, White Castle was also serving up angular burgers decades before Wendy's made it one of their trademarks.
That's what you want to call them.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. They're just so small. You know, I never think of them as being a square burger. I think of it only as a slider.
Well, and they're right because it's a slider and it's on a roll, not necessarily a bun. So yeah, I barely count them as burgers. You know what I mean?
You eat them by the sack.
By the way, Miles, the sandwich you were thinking of.
Yes.
You were thinking about the McDLT.
Oh, the McDLT.
Doggone it, Miles. Of course you knew that one.
They did that for a couple things. I think the Michael Jordan one might have had two sides, too.
No
Well,
kidding.
it definitely had bacon and barbecue sauce. I remember that.
Some juicy facts about hamburgers. Who has been doing drive-thrus longer than anyone else? Let me tell you this.
Oh.
What do you got?
Wendy's.
Not Wendy's. No, they're not in this state yet.
In-N-Out?
In-N-Out Burger.
No kidding.
America's first fast food drive-thru opened in 1947 at a spot called Red's Giant Hamburg in Springfield, Missouri. The very next year, In-N-Out officially became the record holder. So they've been doing it longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
There you
it's
go.
still a good burger.
The original Burger King Whopper. Anybody know how much you could buy an original Burger King Whopper for?
29 cents.
You nailed it, Steve.
Oh, really?
29 cents. Sorry, I almost cussed. The Whopper.
Holy yeah.
was first introduced in 1957, was a quarter-pound oversized burger on a vast 5-inch bun that cost a reasonable 29 cents.
Yeah, it predates the Big Mac.
Does it?
Yeah, because they had that, and then McDonald's was like, oh, we need a signature burger.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Did you find that on Foods That Built America?
Yes.
Attaboy. Juicy facts about hamburgers. Speaking of the Big Mac, it did not always have its iconic name.
What are they like?
So it was previously called the Aristocrat.
All right.
And it was also called the Blue Ribbon Burger. Both names were complete failures in the market, though, yeah.
If they had gone with McBlue Ribbon Burger. See?
So that's weird. It's not about the sandwich. It's about the name. Because it's the same sandwich.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you're like, look, we know this is a good idea. People just don't like the
But
name.
nothing else still tastes like a Big Mac. That is a very unique. It's like a White Castle hamburger.
That's a fact.
Right. Yeah.
It's when you taste it, you know.
Well, it's that Mac sauce.
Yeah. But you could put Thousand Island dressing on
You
a
know it's
hamburger,
responsible for
and
that.
it still does not taste like a Big Mac.
Mary McCheese.
The biggest commercially available burger weighs 1,744 pounds.
Why is that commercially available?
I don't know.
I mean, like,
I don't know what in the hell you're going to do it. So a 1,744-pound cheeseburger is the world's largest commercially sold burger. Mally's Sports Bar in Southgate, a Detroit suburb, took 4 years to plan how to cook and execute the beefy monstrosity, and it is actually on the menu. So what do they do here? She started out comparatively small, first selling a 10-pound burger. By 2008, he developed a taste for competitive burger creation, and that year, the Guinness Book of World Records handed his 138-pounder the title of largest commercially sold burger. And then,
that's fine, but again, commercially available 17. How much does the thing weigh?
1,744 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, what is the situation we're doing that? You might get a 6-foot sub from Subway. I just can't. I mean, get a 1,700-pound burger for the Super Bowl party.
Right. Come on, man.
That's a big burger.
McDonald's serves 75 hamburgers per second.
So the time it took you to say that, they served about 225 hamburgers.
That's a fact. White Castle was the first fast food hamburger chain.
Really?
Doesn't shock me all that much.
I'd take one here. I would go.
No.
Yes, I would.
No.
Yes,
I think it would do well in Seattle, man. Anywhere where weed is legalized, right? Put it down in soda or something. I'm telling you, they would not hurt for business.
Okay, you can go to 13 Coins. You can go to 5 Point. There's a couple places where you can go late night and get a burger. You can still walk in there at 1:30 in the morning and get a bag of hamburgers I mean, think about it. You just put it, in the U district. I don't know.
I think Taco Bell's probably saying, don't do it.
Put it where young people are.
And I'll leave you with this one. This is the last juicy fact about hamburgers. Americans eat how many burgers a year? Collectively. All of us together.
All right.
All of us together all putting in this work. How many burgers a year are we snacking on?
3 billion.
3 billion. Miles?
A billion.
A billion.
52 million.
55 billion burgers every year. Congratulations, America. You're knocking down our big old staple. A cheating husband in Britain was caught in his lies, but you won't believe what gave him away, Miles.
What gave him away?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, and we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throw Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today, if you were listening to our show earlier, you might remember this. We toast 36-year-old Darren Delkis of somewhere in Florida. Now, Darren has a lengthy rap sheet for all kinds of stuff, from stolen property to drug dealing to theft to fraud. Basically, he's a criminal jack of all trades. Now, that said, he's been out on parole for the last 2 months, and he's been doing what he can to keep his nose clean. Unfortunately, someone convinced our friend Darren to engage in the Hot Chip Challenge. And that should not be a big deal. What it proved to be his undoing, because you see, after swallowing that spicy-ass chip, he took a sip of someone else's Corona. Keep that in mind. Someone else's Corona to get the heat out of his mouth. Well, the terms of his parole forbid him from consuming alcohol, including someone's watered-down beer to cool his mouth. He was arrested, and he's back behind bars for at least the next, 18 months, I believe? Next year and a half. Yeah. Again, because he did the one chip challenge. So we pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola bichola. All right, it's going to get tested on the line for Profile This now. 206-803-ROCK. Profile This is next.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
It's time to turn your daydream into your dream job. Wix gives you the power to turn your passion into a moneymaker with a website that fits your unique vision and drives you towards your goals. Let your ideas flow with AI tools that guide you, but give you full control and flexibility. Manage your business from one dashboard and keep it growing with built-in marketing features. Get everything you need to turn your part-time passion into a full-time business. Go to Wix.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The men's room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throw Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Devin. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores. All right, Devin, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. You have your choice today of one of 3 stories. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? License to Spill, where you guess the substance responsible for causing the mess. And finally today, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
Got to go with Animalize It.
All right, in this case, we go to the fine country of Costa Rica. Went there once and had sex with a woman who talked dirty in Spanish. I'll never forget it. Anyway, Costa Rica police, they seized 5 animals, as well as crack cocaine and marijuana, after chasing down a fleeing vehicle on a highway along the Central American country's Pacific coast. The animals, they are South American and happen to be having a moment, they say on social media, but they're not native to Costa Rica. And the Public Security Ministry said that possessing, transporting, or trafficking these animals is illegal. Agency also said it's never recorded another seizure of these animals. Now, 2 men in the vehicle, who both had criminal records, they were arrested. The animals themselves are returned over to the National System of Conservation to be evaluated by veterinarians, and as a non-native species, they cannot be released into Costa Rica, so they'll be taken to a refuge for environmental and conservation education programs. Blah, blah, blah. The question is, what were the animals that were seized? Was it baby anteaters? Was it jaguars? Was it capybaras? Or was it tapirs? So anteaters, jags, capybaras, or tapirs, all of them native to South America.
What's a tapir?
A tapir kind of looks like an anteater. It's my daughter's favorite animal. I wish I was joking. Yeah, it kind of looks like an anteater.
They got one at the Woodland Park Zoo, don't they?
I think they have one at Woodland Park, and I know down.
What was the first thing, baby? What?
Baby anteaters. And I want to say the zoo in Tacoma just had a baby tapir make its debut. I know this because of my daughter.
Got to go there every weekend now?
We don't yet, but when she's out of school, dude, trust me, it's already a date. She has to see the state. She actually just went to D.C. for a class trip. They went to the zoo. She had to go see the tapir.
Jeff and I'm going Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Luxury.
Ted, what do you think?
How did they catch the guys?
The guys themselves, they were in their car, so I don't know if they had them on drugs or something like that, but yeah, just pulled them over in the vehicle. That's all.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking capybara.
Okay.
Devin,
where are you at?
I'm thinking the tapir.
Tapir.
I kind of want to hear Mike say Jaguar with
the Ringo accent.
Yeah, Ringo. Yeah.
A jaguar with the Ringo accent.
Jaguar.
Yeah, I'll take tapir.
Was it baby anteaters, jaguars, capybaras, or tapirs? We're going to find out next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to The Men's Room.
You're listening.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
There is no better time to buy than right now at Bellingham Ford. Best selection in years. Employee pricing for everyone on almost every new car, truck, SUV, or EV. Don't miss out on low interest rates and great lease payments. Highest trade-in values right now. Let us prove it. Free maintenance included with purchase of new truck, car, SUV, or EV. Same-day oil change service. Full-service body shop and detail shop to make your vehicle look and smell like new. There really is no better time to buy than now. Call us at 360-392-7000 or visit us at bellinghamford.com.
Financing on approval of credit. All offers expire May 31, 2025.
It's time to turn your daydream into your dream job. Wix gives you the power to turn your passion into a moneymaker with a website that fits your unique vision and drives you towards your goals. Let your ideas flow with AI tools that guide you, but give you full control and flexibility. Manage your business from one dashboard and keep it growing with built-in marketing features. Get everything you need to turn your part-time passion into a full-time business. Go to Wix.com.
To the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Category is Analyze This on Profile. This we head to Costa Rica, where police were apparently chasing a vehicle.
Yeah.
They get to the vehicle. There were animals in the car.
Mm-hmm.
The animals were not local to Costa Rica, nor were they allowed to be there. They were actually illegal to possess.
Yes.
In the country. Question is, were the animals baby anteaters, Jaguars, capybaras, or tapirs?
And Devin, that is the very question that we posed to you, but let us start with Miles Montgomery, who went with the Jaguar. It was not the Jaguar.
It's not the Jaguar, Miles.
Devin, you went with the tapir. I'm afraid
tapir.
it was not the tapir. Ted, you went with the capybara, which oddly enough is actually my daughter's second favorite animal. And no, I'm not making this up. And you are correct,
Oh,
sir.
nice.
What about the pangolin?
No, dude, she's all capybara and tapir.
Okay.
Those are her. Don't ask me why, but those are her two.
Does she know what a marmot is locally?
Probably.
Kind of close.
I'm guessing you can't bring up an animal she's not familiar with.
Okay.
Unless you give you a 5-minute dissertation about everything about them. You know, the gestation period is 3 weeks. Like, baby, I just wanted to know if you knew what it was.
Exactly.
You can do you got to look them up, but relatively easy day hikes around here and see a marmot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
She won't want to do all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today. You got Seth Meyers, the Jimmies,
Simon Kimmel,
Tomlinson,
Taylor,
Stephen Colbert, or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there. The Tyrants guys have teams of talented writers help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
No one had a longer weekend than the president of France. Did you see the video of him getting smacked by his wife? 2 hands straight to the head. It's what the French call sacre bleu.
I'd say Colbert.
Ted Smith.
Kimmel.
No one had a longer weekend than the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. Do you see the video of him getting smacked by his wife? 2 hands straight to the head. It's what the French call sacre bleu.
I had to ask Mike how to say that. Things are not looking pretty for Diddy right now. The court heard testimony from his former assistant, a woman named Capricorn Clark, who said on her first day of the job, he told her, if anything happens, I have to kill you, which is a hell of a way to say welcome to the team.
Colbert.
Kimmel.
Things aren't looking pretty for Diddy right now. The court heard testimony from one of his former assistants, a woman named Capricorn Clark, who said on her first day on the job, he told her, if anything happens, I will have to kill you, which is a heck of a way to say welcome to the team. It's not a great orientation, but...
The Philadelphia Flyers adopted a puppy they're training to be a future service dog. But unfortunately, since the puppy is from Philadelphia, it just keeps biting people.
Ted Smith.
Ted Smith.
You know it wants to fight. Kid Cudi testified that Diddy snuck into his house and unwrapped his family's Christmas presents. Then they asked Capricorn Clark about this, and she said she had no idea how Diddy and his security team broke into Kid Cudi's house. But considering how much we know about the baby oil he used, he probably just slid through the mail slot.
Foul.
Kimmel.
Kid Cudi testified. He said Diddy snuck into his house and unwrapped his family's Christmas presents. Then they asked Capricorn Clark about this, and she said she had no idea how Diddy and his security guard broke into Kid Cudi's house, though considering everything we know about how much baby oil he used, he probably slid in through the mail slot.
That is another level of petty. Breaking into somebody's home just to unwrap the gifts to ruin the kid's Christmas, like
Jesus.
I mean, it's a legend, but I'm just like, damn.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that takes a little time. Let's see. The HBO documentary Pee-wee as Himself.
Oh, yeah.
That came out today. Paul Rubens, you'll remember, he passed away in July of 2023. He was 70. Basically, it's about his name. And they asked him how he came up with Pee-wee Herman. Said, I had a little tiny harmonica that said Pee-wee on it. And I knew this kid when I was little that was crazy. Really loud, nutty kid, and his last name was Herman. Huh. So that's how he came up with Pee-wee Herman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the name will stick around forever.
My favorite made-up name might still be the cookie maker, Otis Spunkmeyer.
Yeah, because with a name like that, you assume this person must be real.
Or porn.
For years.
Yeah.
You're like, Otis just sounds
Otis
like a guy.
Spunkmeyer.
Right. Because Famous Amos, I want to say, like, was.
It's not his real name.
What,
Yeah.
Amos?
Well, an Amos might, but he's got a regular last name. Amos, whatever. his name is.
Johnson, right.
Yeah. But he's got another cookie company in Hawaii, Ted.
Oh.
So if you go to Hawaii, he kind of did the Izell thing.
They
heaven-
kept
the
his
heaven-
name, but
Heaven
he-
sent Izell thing. Like,
Right,
look,
okay.
I sold you Famous Amos, but I'm still going to go make these cookies. You know, it's
Well, with
like,
Azell, I still remember just seeing him on the local news. He was like, it's my name.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she gets to keep it.
Rubens also talked about going back into the closet. I didn't realize this. Like, we knew he came out as gay finally. But he said he before he got super famous, he had a long-term, serious relationship with a guy in the 70s. But he just said then he decided to hide his sexuality again because he was like, my career obviously would have suffered if I was openly gay. So I went to great lengths for many, many years to keep it a secret, which back then you could do.
Yeah.
In this day and age,
social media, there's no way.
it would be very tough not to. I mean, hell, I think we all read that story today of this old pub somewhere in England that one of their rules is you can't put pictures. You can't curse in there, no photography, don't even look at your cell phone while you're in there. And somebody posted some pictures of it, and the owner put a sign on the door and was like, all right, it's closed.
Keep in mind, it's been open since the 1500s.
Yeah.
And the guy was just like, hey, we got rules, done.
The cursing thing, to me, would be the toughest.
And England.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
If I went in there, like, I probably would be like, I'm just going to leave my phone in the car or something. You know what I mean? Because you're just so used to, like, checking it sometimes. But the cursing thing, that would be tough.
Real tough.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't close the bar down. He would just kick me out.
Also, no TVs.
Well, it's part of the reason he didn't do it.
No music.
Yeah.
So basically, if you go in there, you're talking to your neighbor. You got no choice. That's it. Which is not a bad idea.
Or you sit there quietly.
But I'm just impressed he just shut it down. Like, he removed all the liquor.
Yeah, he was not joking.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's not reopening next week. He's done. Just like, wow.
Well, and I think back in the day, that's what pubs and stuff were, right? Like, you just went in there. Again, even bars and stuff, like I've talked about this, and Mike knows where I saw it, but, like, until Buffalo Wild Wings fires up, like, the idea of going to a bar to watch sports was just unheard of. Now, there wasn't a lot of college games on TV. But they noticed these people watching it and were like, oh, we can actually show more games.
Yeah, why not?
I was talking with a buddy just this past weekend talking about, and it's weird now. I mean, look, these conferences have too much power with their networks and everything.
Sure.
But it used to be very hard to watch college football. And I remember as a kid, like, I remember my dad taking us to bars. He didn't even drink then. And he would be like, is it okay if me and two kids? And I remember him being like, I will tip you. You're the only, right. We want to watch this game and we can't get it at our house. And, like, there were certain places where you had, like, the outside rim that you could do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, then there's, I mean, hell, as a kid, too, it's like, oh, there's darts.
Yeah.
So always exciting to go
Pool
in
table.
there. Yeah. So 2 series I've started up watching, both kind of connected with, like, American and history. Kevin Costner has a new series on History Channel about the West, and just pretty good stuff. Just kind of including, like, little details you forget and everything else. And then, I mean, also, like, for a lot of people, I think we forget sometimes that, like, we had the 13 colonies.
Right.
Right? And then you don't really think about it, but, like, you still had the English up in Canada. So they're still right there. And, like, when we got our freedom from them, we're like, all right, we're going to do this. But England basically was like, nah, we're not really giving up yet.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to let trade in and everything else. And then you had the French. So then that's when you buy the Louisiana Purchase, which is a massive swath of territory. We only really think about New Orleans because we wanted the port so that our farmers on the Mississippi could still ship their stuff.
But you had to buy a whole lot of stuff with
You
it.
had to buy a lot of it.
And like a whole tribune system.
Yeah.
Well,
Whole
and I guess
tributary system.
when Napoleon sold it, too, he kind of was like, why don't you just buy all of it? Because we just really wanted... Like, it's when you look at the Louisiana Purchase, how we bought it, it barely makes it down to New Orleans.
Right.
But just all that kind of stuff. And then, just like the settlers moving out west and everything. And, like, I agree. I was watching one show today or last night talking about the Oregon Trail, and I'm just like, I guess maybe people had lost all their money on the East Coast or whatever, but that's a big decision to go, taking my family by wagon trail. I mean, I made this joke on Monday.
The promise of because the only no social media, so the word you get maybe 6. I'm going to go out there and check it out. 6 weeks later, I get back and it's like, Ted, I'm telling you, there's gold in those hills.
Well, and furs. I mean, furs were the biggest thing that like people were like. So you had kind of these mountain men that would go out there and fur trap and everything else, but it was wild. They used to have these rendezvous where all these dudes would come out of the mountains. The natives would show up with their stuff to trade and everything, but it was like basically like we're going to gamble, drink, curse. And
you get a bunch of dudes together like, all right, we know we got some business to do, but also let's throw
Every
it.
hotel was a whorehouse.
Right.
With a bar underneath it. Cool. That was where you stayed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good times.
I'm just imagining, like, just looking at, like, a wife and being like, hey, pack up your stuff. We're going west on the Oregon Trail. Like, I mean, just even driving over Route 90, I'm just like, how did they do it?
Well, and also there's a bunch of people that they just never came back. They just stayed out there. So all of a sudden, it's like, I'm going out west. Like, all right, dude. And then you never hear from them again, so you never actually know.
I never heard this one. They didn't know how rough it was, so that's why it was a wagon trail to try to get people to be like, it's okay. They said it was littered with, like, furniture. Because people would pack up their whole homes, put them in these wagon trails, and then get out there and be like, get rid of the piano.
Right.
Get rid of this. Get rid of So they were like on sides. There was just all this stuff there.
And one of them was a hoarder. I'm not getting rid of the piano.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And it could be the husband. Anybody listen to my voice. Imagine looking at your wife or your partner right now and being like, we're moving out there on wagons over 3 mountain ranges.
Yeah.
She'd be like, get the F out of here. Go work in the factory. So, pretty good series, though, if you want to watch it. Obviously, you still got a little bit of playoff stuff happening tonight with some hockey and basketball if you want to check that out.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
Oh, here we go. Woman gets naked at the D.C. Hilton, then starts throwing bottles at guests.
Cool.
Meanwhile, to the not-so-friendly skies in an argument with a child over an armrest. Wife catches hubby cheating because of when he brushed his teeth. A couple scratches a lottery ticket on their anniversary to find $2 million underneath. And cops bust a KC couple in a hotel and quickly administer acne medication. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the head. Lines. Here's my cop.
Wash your face. Wash your face.
Like, damn. But you hear all the drugs that was found in there.
Wash your face.
You're not going to have time for it today. I know that.
Stare in the mirror. Look at your face. Wash it.
For real.
Jesus, man.
I know you're doing drugs. Wash your damn face.
I can fry an egg on your face. It's got so much grease on it.
God.
You need Narcan now, man. We need clear.
We need soap.
I could like find Orion. Right. Like you could just imagine. You could find any constellation you want to do in her face. Like a boil, big pussy zit. Dude,
increase the pressure by just a half a.
How do you have that white head and not pop?
Right.
It's like it's visible in the picture.
Nothing.
Jesus, dude.
God, you just want to take a paper towel and see how much color.
No, seriously.
If they cleared up their face, do you think AI facial recognition would even know who they are?
No.
Not them.
Anyway, our top story, we go to Britain, where good dental hygiene can get you into trouble. A wife and mother curious about the habits of her family discovered something shocking. The family uses an electric toothbrush that actually will send data on usage to an account linked to the owner's smartphone. In this case, it's the matriarch. My question as soon as we get here...
So that you can keep track of how often everyone's brushing their teeth.
Here's a couple questions that I have already. It's like, does everybody get their own brush head on the thing? Is this mostly for like parents making sure that their kids are brushing their teeth?
Right.
It is what it is. So she checked out her family's dental habits at one point to find an odd pattern. Every Friday morning, the toothbrush would record that somebody was using the toothbrush in the morning at a time when the kids should be off at school and the husband should be off at work and nobody is home.
Do we need a smart toothbrush like that?
I know, right?
Do you need an app for your toothbrush?
Once she verified that her kids were at school at the time of the phantom brushing, because they were, she confronted her husband. And that's when the discovery was made that he wasn't going in as early as he made it seem on Fridays. But in his defense, he was seeing a coworker on Friday mornings as he took her back to their home and was actively cheating on his wife every Friday morning. Yeah, beware that innocent data that...
Just why I'm brushing my teeth.
And I agree with that, too. Like, this entire story is ridiculous. Like, really, we need a smart device in our toothbrush.
When's the last time I brushed my teeth? Let me check my phone.
Right.
Oh, damn, it was 8 days ago.
There are certain things that make it convenient in our day-to-day. You know, I talked to a man today, great dude, and he's got a scale that actually will send data to his phone on how much, whenever he weighs himself, so we can kind of keep that thing tracking as it goes. Makes things easier for writing that stuff down. I don't need to know when I brush my teeth.
I know when I brush my teeth.
Right. In the morning.
I
in the evening.
know when I brush my teeth.
There you go. Criminy. In other news, never a dull moment on a plane, especially one coming from Orlando. On a plane that was bound for Hagerstown, Maryland, with a family that was coming home from a Memorial Day weekend vacation in Disney World, witnesses say they observed a woman and a child get into an altercation. The story goes that the child told the woman that she wouldn't be able to fit into the seat on the plane because she was too big. And that's about the time that she started assaulting the minor.
That's not what he said.
Smashing his head into the window, hitting him over the head with a bottle, hitting him with her fist.
Jesus.
She would later tell police that the child was, quote, very rude to her during their vacation, calling her fat and Miss Piggy. In spite of these harsh comments, people found her actions not to be disciplinary but abuse, and she was arrested by authorities.
Yeah.
The kid was with her, right?
That's the whole thing. You read the story over and over again. It's like, what's the relation to the kid?
She's right. So I read it. She's got to be with that kid on that plane.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. She's 100%. They were together.
4 of us scanned the story to find what the relationship is. It does
Right.
not say an aunt, an older sister, a mom. So we don't know, but contextually, they have to have been together in Disneyland, Disney World,
Right.
whatever it was.
Disney World, yeah.
Because she was bitching about his behavior there.
So my guess is that she's not directly related. I don't think this is mom. I don't think this is sister, because he was chirping her the entire time, calling her fat and whatnot during the
Miss
vacation.
Piggy,
Yeah, Miss Piggy and all that during the vacation. And then it just kind of comes to a head when they get on the plane, like, oh, she ain't going to fit in the seat.
Damn.
It's a kid, man.
I mean, look, that's one thing. If you need some humility, talk to a child. Ask them their opinion of something that you have done or how you look.
They pull no punches, and it starts early. My nephew, when he should not know how to say words, he was 2.
Oh yeah.
I was babysitting him one day when he's 2, and he walks over to me and he says, "Nice head." I was like, "How do you know to say that to me?" We go to D.C., where police got a call about a woman causing a disturbance at a local hotel. It's off of New Jersey Avenue there, Ted. The story goes that the woman stripped naked inside of the hotel before she was escorted outside and detained while waiting for police. Not wanting to wait, she rushed into the hotel and jumped back behind the bar, proceeding to throw bottles of alcohol at several guests, all the while claiming to hate white people and hoping that she hits all the white people that she can. Police arrived at the scene, took her into custody, and she now faces multiple charges.
If she really hated white people, she'd have stolen all the white clothes.
It's like, why are you throwing it? Just take the damn booze.
Yeah, just get drunk and keep yelling.
You don't got to get naked.
And you're in Washington, D.C. If you don't like white people, stay there.
There you go.
I mean, you ever been to D.C.? It's not a problem. You really have. Once you get away from the Capitol, you're fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you really hate white people, you got to be on Wisconsin Avenue.
There you go.
Well,
Chevy
lady,
Chase.
Go over a block.
But just in case those stories have the bad taste in your mouth.
Thankfully, there's good news.
Great story out of Michigan. A couple with an interesting tradition on their anniversary got the shock of a lifetime. The couple liked to buy and play different scratch lottery tickets and bought themselves a pair on their anniversary. But things took a serious turn when the woman's read an impossible number, $2 million. Ooh. They scanned the ticket in different locations. They didn't believe this at all, getting prompts to turn the ticket in at the nearest lottery offices, confirming that they had indeed won the $2 million jackpot.
I wouldn't scan it at a bunch of different places. My thought was, I would just feel like,
I'm taking this straight to the lottery.
But it's going to trip the lottery and say, like, man, there's something suspicious about this.
Right.
We told them they won $2 million. Why do they keep taking it? That's just me being paranoid.
They've collected their winnings and said that they plan to buy a home, make some investments, and put some aside for their child's college fund. $2 million is going to get soaked up fast. You buying a house, making investments.
Mike, do you have a kid?
No.
Say, like, if you don't have a kid, you say, let me get you're not saving.
I mean, I'm not
your
gonna
kid
spit
must
on it, but-
physically be present and near college age.
Men's Room Sports, as Ted said, you got playoff basketball over on ESPN, playoff hockey on TNT, and the Mariners have Game 2 against the Nationals here at home over on Root Sports. As far as your weather, we do have some clouds blowing in tonight. Believe it or not, that'll bring some early showers tomorrow, and the temperature's down to a low of 56. But they're expecting it to brighten up to during the day to a sunny 65-degree afternoon. Ooh. And that's it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawkins.
Ted Chandler's back next time we see it, along with the game notice Big Dummy, Lovely Jolene's coming up next.
Yes, indeed, it's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until tomorrow, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Running a business is hard work. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI. From site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want. And manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.